this is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.
This is the biggest night in podcasting.
The countdown is on to our 2026 iHeart Podcast Awards. Live from South by Southwest, March 16th, we'll honor the very best in podcasting from the past year and celebrate the most innovative talent and creators in the industry.
It's truly a who's who of the podcasting world.
Creativity, knowledge, and passion will all be on full display.
And the winner of the iHeart Podcast Award is...
See all the nominees now at iHeart.com/podcast awards.
Audible is a proud sponsor of the Audible Audio Pioneer Award. Explore the best selection of audiobooks, podcasts, and originals all in one easy app. Audible. There's more to imagine when you listen. Sign up for a free trial at audible.com.
When segregation was a law, one mysterious black club owner, Charlie Fitzgerald, had his own rules.
Segregation in the day, integration at night.
It was like stepping on another world.
Was he a businessman? A criminal, a hero?
Charlie was an example of power. They had to crush him.
Charlie's Place, from Atlas Obscura and Visit Myrtle Beach. Listen to Charlie's Place on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
This is Ryder Strong, and I have a new podcast called The Red Weather. In 1995, my neighbor, Anna Trainer, disappeared from a commune.
It was nature and trees and praying and drugs.
So no, I am not your guru.
And back then, I lied to everybody.
They have had this case for 30 years.
I'm going back to my hometown to uncover the truth. Listen to The Red Weather on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey everyone, it's Emily Simpson and Shane Simpson from the Legally Brunette podcast.
Each week, we're bringing you true crime through a legal lens.
Whether you want all the facts on the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, or you still need to wrap your head around the Diddy verdict, we're breaking it all down step by step.
And we're not just lawyers, we're also husband and wife. It makes for some pretty entertaining episodes.
Listen to Legally Brunette on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Cool Zone Media.
Hey everybody, Robert here. First off, we are doing a rewind week because I've written 2 new Andrew Tate episodes, but also my birthday came recently. We took some time off, so we're going to take this week to replay the first 4 Tate episodes with ad breaks and stuff removed. I also wanted to tell you Ed Zitron is in the running for Webby for his show Better Offline, as is Molly Conger for Weird Little Guys. Please go to the Webbies, vote for them. You can find the links in the show notes along with our other links. You can also just Google Ed Zitron Webbies, Molly Conger Webbies, and you will find them. Please do vote for them. We'll be back next week with 2 brand new episodes on what Tate has been up to over the last couple of years and a bunch of really fucked up information that's come up. So please enjoy these episodes, the reruns with less ads, and go vote in the Webbies.
Oi! It's Boston, Robert, opening up another episode of the Andrew Tate podcast.
Wow, that was incredible. I think I'm going to try my American accent now. I hope that's not offensive to anybody. I'm Robert Evans. This is the first and only Boston-based podcast, Behind the Bastards.
That was so
More
bad.
like Behind the Mastards, like
crying.
like Massachusetts.
It somehow keeps getting worse.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty good.
I would be more offended if I actually liked Boston, which I don't. So,
Yeah.
But oh my god, it's so bad that I started to my whole face is red and I've teared up.
No, you see, a lot of the times we ignore the Reddit when we disagree with it, but today the subreddit's filled with Bostonians saying my accent is perfect, so I have decided to take that as a mandate to continue speaking in a Boston accent. Well, everybody, this is Behind the Bastards. It's a podcast. Bad people. Tell you all about them.
Whoa. I have a Jamie Loftus text that says, Butch, Jack, Tommy, they're on their way. Throw Deadpool DVDs at you like throwing stars if you do not stop the Boston accent.
Well, you know, Jamie is not really from Boston because she's from Harvard. And,
she's from Brockton.
Bracton. Yeah, we don't consider that Baston where I'm from, which is I don't know the parts of Boston. Look, this joke was always going to run into the limitation of me not knowing anything about Boston.
Yeah.
The Liberty Bell? I'm from the Liberty Bell.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's as Boston as it gets.
Oh, my God.
They have a really shitty basketball team.
I've heard that about Boston from Bostonians.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is Behind the Bastards. We are veering into part 3 of our epic podcast on Andrew Tate that I and all of you were cruelly forced to make because he very suddenly became extremely relevant. And all of this, all of our accents, all of our crosstalk is an attempt to distract ourselves from the fact that we unfortunately have to learn a lot more about Andrew Tate. And Sophie, Ian, I know I'm about to force a terrible, terrible quantity of Andrew Tate videos on you. You're going to see
here.
more
Hi,
of him.
Ian Johnson, our editor.
Hi, Ian Johnson, our editor.
Hey,
champion.
guys.
Sweet Prince.
Kickboxing champion of the world.
I'm just mentally preparing myself for a bunch of horrific Andrew Tate TikTok videos, so let's do it.
Not to mention one half of the DJ group Gladiator with our very own DJ Daniel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we have the full Gladiator on staff, which is my favorite thing to brag about.
Yeah. all of these things are true. And what's also true is that I have watched hours of Andrew Tate. The people who live with me have been miserable because while I'm cleaning the house, I've just been putting on his 8-hour-long videos where he tells people how to hustle.
My condolences.
Yeah, I have broken
Christ.
my brain, and now it's time for everyone else to suffer, which could be the tagline of this show, honestly. So yeah, let's roll into it.
Robert,
what?
That don't do that to people. Wear
Sophie,
headphones.
all of our money comes from doing that to people.
Wear headphones.
I am wearing headphones now.
No, when you're listening to 8 hours of Andrew Tate.
No, see, I mean, the whole reason this podcast works and the whole reason that I enjoy doing it is getting to make other people miserable after making myself miserable. So if I were just hiding all of the Andrew Tate and experiencing it solo, I wouldn't enjoy it as much as like when one of my friends comes home from a long day of like teaching children at a public school and sees Andrew Tate talking about child labor on the screen of my TV. And that's just the thing that assaults them as they attempt to de-stress from their day. I think that's beautiful, Sophie.
I guess I know who I owe apologies to on your behalf.
Oh, everyone, Sophie. So let's get back into it. When we left off, their Andrew and Tristan Tate's webcam sex business, which was essentially just sex trafficking, had taken off. They had started making a lot of money, and they had been forced to flee the United Kingdom after committing a series of sex crimes. So they are in Romania now. Andrew Tate will. And he's pretty open about this because after this point, he starts to get a lot more active on social media, particularly Instagram. And when he's doing these kind of like videos with his fans where he talks about how he got rich and how to get rich, he'll talk about why he moved to Romania. And his explanation is their sex crime laws are a lot looser there. It's a lot harder to get prosecuted because the government is more corrupt. And while I'm not a rapist, I wanted to go to a place with more freedom to commit sex crimes, which is something a rapist would say, and is in fact something a rapist did say. So he was never particularly good at hiding it. And spoilers, it may prove to be a bad idea to taunt the government of the country that you've moved to by calling them corrupt and saying they don't prosecute sex crimes, because Romania does actually have serious problems with sex trafficking, but it turns out a great way to get a government to take a problem seriously is to taunt them and say that they don't care about that problem when you become incredibly famous for committing crimes.
Yeah.
It's going to be good.
Not to be advised.
But that's a few years in the future, because for quite a while this happens. He moves around 2015 or so, And for years, he's very successful there. And he's Instagramming as he starts to buy these supercars, as he starts, hitting the wealth level that he can fly in private jets. He's putting all of these videos out. He's engaging in stunts designed to draw attention, like promising to pay fans $10,000 if they show him a good night out partying. The catch was that.
So, just to be clear, all this money is from the website that him and his brother are running, right?
That's where it starts coming in from. As we'll get into there, and to be honest, I'm not going to be able to give anyone a cohesive answer as to actually where all his money comes from because he is a criminal. But we know a lot is coming in from the cam business at this point. Enough that he's promising to pay people $10,000 if they show him a good night out partying. And the catch is he's going to like Instagram beating them up if they don't show him a good time. One fan took him up on this, and the video's been scrubbed from the internet. But at the end of it, Tate's like, "I had a bad time. Now you have to fight me." And this dude clearly doesn't want to fight him, and is at one point like, "Here, I have to take my watch off." And so like Andrew looks away, and then he just bolts and runs. It's like a beat from a fucking Judd Apatow movie.
That's amazing.
And it works incredibly well on Andrew Tate because he is, we're about to get into some of the smarter stuff he did, but he's not nearly as smart as he thinks he is. So that's fun. 2014, I think, is the year that the Tate brothers actually became millionaires. I found a compilation of Instagram footage from that time in a YouTube channel called The Tate Pill. I know.
That's incredible.
Oh, yeah.
That's amazing.
Let me breathe in your sorrow, Sophie. That fuels me. Nom, 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 nom.
I miss the Boston accent. I do.
Yeah, see? That was the plan all along. Get you to miss the Boston. This Instagram footage of his first year as a millionaire, it's all shots of him driving expensive supercars, of the brothers partying, of piles of cash inside of vehicles. And there's a lot of videos of piles of cash, of women cleaning for him. He's also really obsessed with showing servants cleaning up for him while he does his videos. But Tate's overall image, the way he presents himself, is quite different at this point. In one shot, we see him with a bunch of young women outside of a hotel or something. He's got a full head of hair, and he's wearing a pink polo shirt and shorts. He looks like a frat brother, which is not the look that he goes for. He's kind of going for more of a sex criminal James Bond, which also you might just call regular James Bond if he went shirtless more often, and his kind of modern shit. But he's definitely just he's kind of basic still at this point. Which I found kind of interesting. In another shot from this compilation of photos and footage, which I took from a channel called The Tate Pill, we see a young woman with Tate's Girl written across her chest in Sharpie. Later on, there's a woman with Tate's written on her as a tattoo. This is a thing that you should keep in mind because it's going to be relevant later. And Sophie, I put a picture in there of the lady with Tate's Girl written right in between her tits.
I was hoping I wouldn't have to show it to Ian, but here.
No. Let him see. Let him take this in.
All right, I'm ready.
Yeah. You got that, Ian? You feeling good?
Ian, I was hoping
happy?
he wouldn't make me show this to you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that feels bad, but okay. Let's keep going.
Yeah, it's good
feels
stuff.
Bad. You don't say.
Oh, no.
This whole thing is just giving me Dan Blazarian vibes. I feel like he saw a bunch of Dan Blazarian videos on the internet and was like, I want that. And then he just started doing it. Are you familiar with Dan Blazarian?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Dan Blazarian, who was this big right-wing muscle gun influencer until he was present at that mass shooting in Vegas and ran away rather than rendering aid to any of the injured people. Yes.
Yeah, that guy.
Dan Blazarian. Great guy. I think the difference is that Tate would never have had a problem with running away from a mass shooting because a big part of his brand is you should only look out for yourself and fuck everybody else. He would not have had trouble handling that situation. Now, that video compilation of Tate and his brother when they first become millionaires is like thousands of video compilations of the Tates that litter the internet. And watching those compilations, because he's been deplatformed so much, is basically the only way to consume a lot of Tate's content. And if you want to consume a lot of Tate content for some reason. He's been deplatformed from most places. We actually just lost a video we're going to play in here. So the easiest way to find old episodes of Tate Speech or various interviews is compilation videos like the one I found of pictures of him when he was first got his millions. That's something to keep in mind because it's going to be more relevant later. It's evidence of the kind of strategy that he actually used to get as famous as he is. But first, we need to get into more of his backstory. So in 2016, Mr. Tate became a contestant on Big Brother, the UK reality show. Wow. Well, I guess the UK version of Big Brother, right? I think there's a bunch of versions of it. I don't know. Yeah. I've never watched Big Brother. But he was on the UK version of it. And I don't understand the rules of the show, but he came in as an other housemate, which means he had to get voted to housemate status or some shit. He had to basically like socially engineer his way to being able to stay on the show. And so he made a big deal about being a strategizer and how he had this like elaborate strategic plan to get on the house. But before whatever plan that was came to fruition, footage leaked of him whipping a woman.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, this is one of those ones that I'm a little like unsure of because I've seen the footage and like it's unpleasant. He claims that it was a consensual kinky sex act, and so does the woman that he was whipping. And just based on the video, that might be true of this specific video. Again, we know he's been physically abusive. There's a lot of evidence of that. We know that he's committed rape. This specific video may actually have been a kink thing, which is why I'm not playing it because I don't think that kind of thing should be played. So instead, let's watch a little clip of Andrew Tate on Big Brother. I think that's going to give people a little bit better of a context of this guy and how he was presenting himself in 2016. Sophie, I've just put the link into the chat. Yeah, we're gonna this will be a good time for everybody and much more pleasant than that video, regardless of what the truth is of the video.
Andrew Tate, I'm 29 years old, and I'm a 4-time kickboxing world champion. I see myself as smarter than average. I was a chess champion from a very young age, from the age of 3. My biggest tool is that I'm not afraid of anything. Don't need the money. I don't want to be famous. I don't want any of that. So I'm going to be the most emotionally controlled person in the house.
This is Big Brother. Time is up. Andrew, confirm the character trait you have all chosen and targeted and explain your reasons.
We've chosen sexy because we're assuming the person who describes themselves as sexy is an idiot and nobody an easy choice.
No.
Because it's sexy.
Okay, they're closed.
You can tell if someone's sexy.
Yeah, but to my actually...
We've chosen because it'd be an easy choice.
So that's Andrew Tate.
He's insufferable.
Yeah, I mean, you see what he's kind of going for there is like, I'm the most emotionally controlled. You can't like affect me. He's doing kind of a version of the thing he's going to be doing. But obviously he gets kicked off the show very quickly. I think he's on it for literally like a week. Now, the claim is that he's kicked off the show because this video of him whipping this woman gets leaked out, right? And that like that's why they kick him off. There's debate about this within the Big Brother fandom. I went through the Big Brother fandom wiki because I wanted to see how are the bro stands responding to Andrew Tate? How do they feel about him? And they note this, quote, Andrew himself and many other fans believe that is an incorrect reason as to why he was ejected. Andrew believes he was removed as a result after unaired altercations with other housemates. Got very heated, and due to Andrew's fighting background, Big Brother feared violent repercussions due to this and ejected him from the house. And it's interesting that he would admit that because he's basically saying they thought I was too violent and dangerous and didn't want me to hurt somebody and get the show in trouble, so they kicked me off, which I actually think might be possible. I am going to say Andrew may not be incorrect there, because if I'm Big Brother and I see the way this guy interacts with people and his background, I might be like, we may want to get this motherfucker off the show. He seems like a violent psychopath.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it's also very likely that they just saw that sketchy video and were like, we don't need this. We don't need Big Brother doesn't need this PR.
Right.
Yeah. So either way,
before he went on the show, was he already kind of starting to become famous a little bit, or was this kind of like a jumping off point for bigger fame?
I certainly wouldn't call him famous. He was, a semi-prominent within the UK, semi-prominent fighting sports star. He'd done a little bit of MMA too. And he was a semi-prominent he had like, you know, I think in the tens of thousands, maybe even like a couple of 100,000 followers on Instagram. Okay. So he's not a nobody, but he's not a celebrity, right? Like he's the level of celebrity that you pick to be on a Big Brother show, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, as with so many claims about this guy, obviously, like, I'm not going to say that the Big Brother fandom wiki is a great source, but I did read through it, and I think it's worth reading to you the biography that the Big Brother fandom wiki gives for Tate, because I believe it's accurate to the kind of stuff that Tate bragged about in his Big Brother appearance.
I read ahead.
Here's his biography. Andrew is a member of Mensa.
See, that's the same red flag as the Iowa Writers Workshop, which I was fucking right about. Thank you, everybody who mentioned, who messaged us. But,
people did.
That is a red motherfucking flag.
Folks who are not on the social media should note that people pointed out the Iowa Writers Workshop was apparently started by the CIA, which is very funny in terms of Sophie being right about it being shady. Although I will say Robert Bly does not seem to have taken to the CIA's propaganda
that
line.
You know
he was
about.
Deeply anti-war. But I guess we'll see. Whatever. Feel about that however you want. Very
Andrew's
funny
a
still.
member of Mensa. Let's get back to that.
That is more of a red flag than
hilarious.
the CIA writing program. I'm just gonna say that right now.
Oh God.
Text Jamie about this.
Yeah.
Does Jamie know that Andrew Tate was in Mensa?
I will text her right now.
Okay.
Can't wait to hear.
I'm going to continue Andrew's bio from the Big Brother wiki. Andrew is a 4-time world kickboxing champion. His brother, who Andrew claims is his only true friend, trades him. What a sad sentence. Andrew believes that a man should be able to sleep with as many women as he wants, but that does not apply to women. So that's basically what you'd expect from Mr. Tate, right?
Yeah, that sounds like a perfect encapsulation of Andrew Tate.
What an incredible guy. So the year after his Big Brother failure, Donald Trump, you guys might have heard of this, becomes president of the United States.
Yeah,
and suddenly
vaguely.
you got fascists in the streets, you got the alt-right suddenly being a term in everybody's lexicon, and you've got this galaxy of right-wing and explicitly fascist media influencers just blowing the fuck up on social media. Andrew and Tristan saw this happening, and they were like, this is how we get huge, right? This is a perfect place for us to just kind of nest like one of those wasps that lays their eggs in your eyes and then burst out. So they decide to be the wasps in, let's say, Alex Jones's eye. They start to experiment. Social media posts bragging about their luxurious lifestyle had helped, but that kind of stuff is a dime a dozen. Now, Andrew is, unfortunately, not a dumb man, and so he observed the success of guys like Mike Cernovich, Alex Jones, Paul Joseph Watson, and he recognized that they were all using variations of the same tactic. They would post something deliberately inflammatory on social media or on their own shows. They'd have some sort of guest like David Icke talk about lizard people, or they would go on this rant, or they'd just do something super racist, and that would generate outrage. And all of these liberal and centrist and left-wing journalists would cover the horrifying thing that they'd said on social media, which would elevate their profile and give them free advertising.
What platforms are they using at this time?
He is using primarily Instagram, and he's going to get increasingly big on TikTok. He's one of the right-wing influencers who's probably best at TikTok. He also, though, he puts stuff on YouTube until he gets banned from YouTube. He has like a long kind of video blog podcast, and that's kind of where he's starting.
It's very interesting the similarities to like Steve Bannon using video game and just message.
I was
board
literally
stuff.
just thinking about that. Yeah.
And this is very conscious, right? Like he's and this is where Andrew Tate is smart, right? Because intelligence is not a broad concept, it's a narrow thing. And he's very intelligent when it comes to how to build a right-wing brand online. He watches what everyone is doing and he takes the stuff that works best, and he's going to become very good at this. But you know who's even better at this?
The products and services that sponsor this podcast?
They have, you should see their right-wing Instagram page. It is
Robert,
offensive. What?
You say that, but most of our ads are programmatic, and we have no idea what they are. So that could possibly be very accurate.
I'm excited for the gold company to come back, everybody.
True. Yeah.
Yeah. Buy some motherfucking gold.
Segregation in the day, integration at night.
When segregation was the law, one mysterious black club owner had his own rules.
We didn't worry about what went on outside. It was like stepping in another world.
Inside Charlie's place, black and white people danced together. But not everyone was happy about it.
You saw the KKK?
Yeah, they was dressed up in their uniform.
The KKK set out to raid Charlie, take him away from here.
Charlie was an example of power. They had to crush him.
From Atlas Obscura, Rococo Punch, and Visit Myrtle Beach comes Charlie's Place, a story that was nearly lost to time. Until now. Listen to Charlie's Place on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Segregation in the day, integration at night.
When segregation was the law, one mysterious black club owner had his own rules.
We didn't worry about what went on outside. It was like stepping in another world.
Inside Charlie's Place, black and white people danced together. But not everyone was happy about it.
You saw the KKK?
Yeah, they was dressed up in their uniform.
The KKK set out to raid Charlie, take him away from here.
Charlie was an example of power. They had to crush him.
From Atlas Obscura, Rococo Punch, and Visit Myrtle Beach comes Charlie's Place, a story that was nearly lost to time. Until now. Listen to Charlie's Place on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Almost 30 years together, 4 kids, and some of reality TV's most unforgettable moments, we know a thing or two about living life out loud. We're taking you behind the scenes in our new podcast, Between Us, with me, Heather Dubrow.
And me, Terry Dubrow. Between Us isn't about perfect lighting or curated Instagram grids.
It's the unfiltered, behind-closed-doors conversations you wish you could eavesdrop on. Equal parts smart, funny, and a little bit scandalous.
Every week, Heather will bring you an unapologetic take on the headlines, the trends, and the cultural moments everyone's texting about.
And Terry will deliver insider beauty, health, and wellness insights you won't find on TikTok.
Together, we'll tell the stories, spill the secrets, and share the hacks that keep life, marriage, and everything in between feeling fresh and fun.
We may live in a gated community, but there's zero gatekeeping here.
And plenty of did they just say that moments?
Listen to Between Us on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Anna Navarro, and on my new podcast, Bleep with Anna Navarro, I'm talking to the people closest to the biggest issues happening in your community and around the world. Because I know deep down inside right now, we are all cursing and asking what the bleep is going on. I'm talking to people like Julie K. Brown, who broke the explosive story on Jeffrey Epstein in 2018. These victims have been let down time and time again for decades and decades and decades by local law enforcement, by federal law enforcement, by administration after administration.
The Justice Department, through, I think we counted 4 presidential administrations, failed these victims.
Listen to Bleep with Anna Navarro as part of the My Cultura podcast network, available on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
We are back. Sophie's letting us know that Jamie Loftus, who did a podcast on Mensa, just got the news that Andrew Tate is a Mensite.
I mean,
Sophie,
it just really tracks.
How'd she respond?
All caps, LOL, no way.
Beautiful.
Perfect reply.
Happy to have supplied her with this information. Yeah, so Andrew starts upping his appearances on social media. He starts integrating himself into this right-wing ecosystem, throwing out offensive shit and just kind of using that to build his profile, to get him invites to be on other people's shows. And I'm going to quote from The Guardian here to talk about his rise to prominence. In September of 2017, he was criticized by mental health charities for saying depression isn't real. The next month, he waded in on Me Too, saying women should bear some responsibility for being raped, a view he has since repeated and which, among other incidents, led to him being barred from Twitter. The backlash won Tate work and boosted his profile. He appeared on InfoWars, the podcast of conspiracy theorist Alex Jones, was pictured with far-right YouTuber Paul Joseph Watson, and met Donald Trump Jr. at Trump Tower, posting on Facebook afterwards, "The Tate family support Trump fully. MAGA."
Cool.
In
The
2009
trifecta from hell. You got
he's
Paul and
done it
John
all.
Jr.
He's literally checking all the asshole boxes.
Yeah, he's
Oh my God.
he's tic-tac-toed his way through the very worst people in our society.
Jesus Christ.
In 2019, police were called after Tate showed up at the house of Mike Stuckberry, a journalist who had been critical about him online. Days after Yaxley Lennon, that's Tommy Robinson, who he did an episode on, did the same thing. The incident caused Stuckberry's wife to suffer a panic attack and played a role in them leaving the UK for Germany. So both, that's gross physical intimidation of a guy who's criticized him, but also he's just doing the same thing Tommy Robinson did. So you can see at this point, he's not a figure in his own right yet. When you are copying Tommy fucking Robinson, you have not yet ascended, right? That is one of the sadder right-wing grifters to be following in the footsteps of. So he's working on it, but he hasn't yet blown his way kind of out of the pack. All of this controversy, all of these appearances on right-wing talk shows and podcasts did successfully elevate Tate's profile, and he started funneling his new fans towards his new business, one with a wider appeal than webcam prostitution. He began offering a series of classes to his followers. Initially, this was sleazy pickup artist shit, classes on how to get women. The market for that is very crowded, though. Here's how Tate attempted to set himself apart from the pickup artist community, from the promotional material I found for his now defunct PhD program.
Shut the fuck up. What?
Yeah.
God, what a
it stands
fucking
for something gross.
insufferable
I've forgotten.
creep.
But I'm going to read you the ad copy that he wrote for this fucking thing. Andrew Tate is world champion kickboxer who owns and operates strip clubs and webcam studios. With over 75 girls working for him, he has created a system that allows you to get girls quickly, easily, and without spending money. Unlike other pickup artists who have the odd girl here and there, Tate has top quality, that's in caps, women living with him and making him money full time. This makes him more qualified than any other coach on the internet. Do you want to learn how to get the odd girl from a pickup artist, or learn how to build an army of women who are so loyal to you that they allow you to have as many girls as you want? More importantly, he has a foolproof system for retaining women, having them do as you say, and respecting you without taking up or wasting large amounts of your time. As Tate said, "I don't want a 10 unless she does everything I say. It's obedience and loyalty that turns me on more than looks." Whether you're looking to get girls, simply have your girlfriend obey every command and be fiercely loyal, or learn how to live with 3 or 4 girlfriends at once as Tate does, this is the course for you.
So
there you go, guys.
So do we think Hitch was his favorite movie?
Sophie, I don't think you're allowed to make references to Hitch. Nobody's seen Hitch.
Ian, have you seen Hitch with Will Smith?
I have seen Hitch. It's a fun little movie.
Is he this time? I don't think Hitch is that toxic.
The allergic reaction. That was, bring it back. Yeah.
Yeah.
That entire thing was disgusting, Robert. Thank you for sharing.
Oh yeah, it was beautiful. When I found that, I just knew I did a little chef's kiss, like I was cooking up some spaghetti. It was good. It was good. Now, a big part of Tate's branding, and this is the same thing, when you're an influencer, right? If you're trying to build like a cultishly loyal following, you have to use cult techniques. And that means creating words that were not in use before you started using them, or at least repurposing words in ways that other people don't use them, and getting your fans to talk that way. And one of the things, Tate knew this, and Tate also, he had paid attention to guys. Again, think back to our other cult leaders. We've got guys like Keith Raniere, who was called Vanguard. We've got L. Ron Hubbard, who was the Commodore. I forget what Werner Erhard went by, but we just did his episodes. And for Tate, the kind of name that he had his fans call him is Top G. G. And you will see this in a shitload of Zoomer TikTok videos. I want to play first a video for you of him talking to his brother about what top G means.
And this is from the Tate Pill YouTube channel, which all of
That's
this,
the only YouTube channel that I visit.
Yeah, Top G and Tate Pill, all those names make me want to cry.
It's good stuff, Sophie.
Here's the clip.
Top G. Everyone says Top G. Kids are now wearing t-shirts with Top G on it. I want to be a Top G. I want to be the Top G. You basically trademarked it. So what do you mean by Top G?
Top G is an individual who is capable in all realms, as my father said. Sheer indefatigability and unmatched perspicacity made him a feared opponent in all realms of human endeavor. When you are Top G, you are dangerous at everything. That's why I'm Top G. If they were to say to you, you have to go on a racetrack and race Tate in supercars, you'd be like, shit, I have to race Tate. You have to go in the boxing ring and fight Tate. Shit, I have to fight Tate. You have to go debate Tate. Shit, I have to debate Tate. You have to go try and get a girl, and Tate's also trying to get the girl. Shit, I have to go against Tate. Shit, it doesn't matter what the competition is. As soon as they say my name, you're going to be like, oh, for fuck's sake. My unmatched perspicacity, my ability to perceive, my sheer indefatigability, the fact that I never get tired. You add all this together, I am a feared opponent in any realm of human endeavor. Even things I don't yet know how to do. You do not want to compete with me in those things. That is why I am.
So,
My
first
gosh.
off, it feels like he wasn't as good at chess as he says because his dad had to kick him out of a contest for crying too much. Just do keep that in mind as he makes these claims. Now, I don't believe that Andrew Tate is a competition race car driver because he has never done that. And also, and by the way, because he makes claims like this, I went to like race car Twitter to see what they said about him.
Yeah,
and they had a bunch of
What's the vibe? He sucks, right? He sucks. Tell me
they
he
had
sucks.
a lot of weird. There were a lot of. You'll run into people making these weird niche criticisms about his supercars and how they're not the right kind
What
of supercars
makes it a
to buy.
fucking supercar? What is with this? You can't just say something
It's an
super.
expensive car that goes fast.
Okay.
Look, and if you're a supercar nerd and disagree, you can go to hell because I enjoyed reading and found it like enlightening reading the chess and the kickboxing subreddits. The supercar people are insufferable, even the ones that don't like Andrew Tate. So I am not.
I do love that. That's Robert's line.
Yeah, that's where he draws the line. It's like the supercars just really were too much.
Because they were like, well, no, you want this supercar, not that one. I would never. And I was like, you don't like.
None of you
a
own any of these
supercar.
cars.
I'm sorry. I don't. You people, I don't believe.
Oh God, I can just imagine these supercar fuckers like Tinder profiles. They're so horrible. Their car is there. You know the car is in the picture.
Yeah, I am.
Of course.
I simply don't care what you have to say about his supercars. But what I do care about is the fact that as silly as that all is, the Top G shit worked. And as evidence for this, I have just sent another link to the chat. This is a protest in Athens, Greece, where what appears to be visually several thousand adult men and a number of men or boys marching through the streets of Athens. And I want, Sophie, I want you to just play what they're chanting.
Oh, yeah.
This was right after his arrest.
Yeah, I know what this is. I'm sad.
And that is like, it's not a, I'll say this, that's not like a tiny flash mob. There's a lot of fucking dudes in the street.
There's a lot of people.
There is a distressing number of men in the street.
There's a
and
distressing
boys.
number of men in the streets. That's in Greece. Just
it is not
terrible.
great. So this works very well. Tate was very successful. And again, we've already covered the degree to which he's exaggerating and outright lying about his competence, but he's successful at pushing a persona of himself as hyper competent and irresistible to women. As we've already covered, a lot of what he says is objectively untrue. His kickboxing record was cooked. His businesses are mostly cheap scams or outright criminal enterprises. We'll get into that more in a second. But it's worth digging into first the reality behind the Andrew Tate method of picking up women. In the wake of Tate's arrest, a brave 19-year-old Romanian woman named Daria Gusa reached out to BuzzFeed. She told them and provided evidence that in 2020, when she was 16, Andrew Tate slid into her DMs on Instagram with a message that read, "Romanian girl, strawberry emoji, which I think is a sex thing. The strawberry emoji. I don't know. I don't know what you kids use. When
There's
Tate
a
messaged
strawberry emoji. All right, carry on.
On the gram, yes, Sophie. Geez, get with the kids. Get with the times. When Tate messaged her, her Instagram bio had the name of her fancy private school, and she told BuzzFeed that a number of other girls in her class had been messaged by Tate around the same time in the same way. So it seems like he was looking for basically just like filtering his responses from girls in this private school who were like 16 and then messaging a bunch of them at once. Daria did not respond, but some of her friends did, and Tate complimented them, telling them how beautiful they were. He bragged about his wealth, and he offered to take them to expensive restaurants. After a short back and forth, he would every time try to meet up with the girls, be like, hey, we should meet up right now. Where are you? I'll come pick you up. We can go out and eat. And I'm going to quote from BuzzFeed next. None of her friends went ahead with meeting with him, she said, and once Tate realized they weren't going to, he started to insult them. The second that girls stopped replying to him, he starts getting a bit verbally abusive, calling them ugly and stuff like that, just to get the reaction out of them and keep engaging with them, Guza said. And that's, I think, useful to go over, because that's normal shitty guy on the internet stuff. That is, there's a billion guys doing that. There's nothing special about him. He doesn't have some sort of secret. He's not irresistible. He's just doing the same thing that there's a whole bunch of Twitter accounts that like semi-professionally post like screen grabs of guys sliding into women's DMs all around the world doing that exact thing. Like, there's nothing about his method that is special or rare. He just practices it exclusively on children. And, you know, what he's doing is he's I'm sure shotgunning out these requests to so many people that statistically, just like with like a, you know,
it's just Nigerian, like a numbers game.
Exactly. It's like one of those like email scams, right? Some number of people are going to like respond. It'll work on some number of people, and that's all he cares about, right? Yeah. And I do think that's important, because when it comes to actual pickup artistry or whatever you want to call it, Andrew Tate is no different than every other frustrated adult male piece of shit looking to flirt with little kids.
Yeah, you're not special, motherfucker. You're just like every other creep.
Yeah, exactly. He is just like every other creep behind the curtain. Now, none of this, though, is public during the rise of Andrew Tate's social media profile or his main online business, which would become Hustlers University. That's what he calls this like series of classes and training programs that he starts to launch. And it's the kind of thing, like, he is undeniably good at getting people, and it's mostly the people who mostly believe this image he's crafted are children, right? They are also children. They're male children. All of his victims, the girls that he's flirting with, are mostly children or extremely young adults, and the people
without fully formed brains, who can't do critical thinking or make like big decisions like fully yet. Yeah, exactly.
And the people he's trying to get money from are like boys from like, I'm going to say age 12 to 20, and That's who this shit works on. Now, I found an 8-hour class from Hustlers University up on YouTube, which is just part one of his
Did you watch it? Is that what you were watching around the house?
I sure did.
For 8 hours?
I sure did.
Gosh.
You can find a lot of these have been uploaded since his arrest, and there's like 100 of them.
Were you like doing like
so many hours of this shit?
Were you like doing house chores and then blasting this?
I'm sweeping, I'm cleaning, you know, I'm standing naked doing planks in my living room floor, normal stuff.
Not your living room floor.
Oh yeah, that's the only place I do it. So I felt like I had to watch through these, because Tate claims at the start that these do contain his entire understanding of business and how to make money. I figured watching it would give me some insight into the soul of the man himself, and boy howdy, did it ever.
Oh, God.
So we're going to go into that in a little bit. But first, you know what we're going to go into?
Ooh. Is it an ad break? Is it an ad break?
It sure is an ad break. It's some products, some services, the odd product and service. We're going to go into that. I'm going to do my hustle before we introduce you all to Hustlers University.
Oh, Robert, that was despicable.
Yeah, well... Welcome to the potty, pal. We are back.
Back again.
Hustlers University starts out pretty boring. He gives his definition of a business, which is a thing that money goes into, right? That's the only thing a business is. So
thanks for explaining that, Andrew Tate, because I had no idea before. Okay.
Thank you, Andrew. Well, it's interesting because since a business is only something money goes into, if you are putting money into startup costs, if you're putting money into R&D, if you're paying for things like PR, that is all a waste of time, right? Because that's spending money. A business only takes money in. Now, you may be saying, well, but you have to spend money to make money. That's like a thing everybody knows about business. That's just the way that it works, right? Yeah. Andrew says no. And in order to explain what a fool you are, he gives an example of a good business that he had an idea for. And this first example of a good business is starting a website to sell makeup online. Now, he says he's adamant that, like, you don't need to have any makeup. You don't need to have a product. All you do is you make a website selling makeup, and then you wait for a bunch of people to buy the makeup. And then you figure out where to get makeup with the money that they've spent on makeup that you didn't have before, and then you send it to them. Sounds like that's genius brain level business stuff. Start a fraudulent makeup business and then buy makeup once you start getting money. I don't think that would work. In part because there's a lot of makeup that's a real company out there that people can buy from.
There's a lot of other options to actually get makeup.
So yeah, and I'm sure a lot of people have that question. How are you supposed to actually get cash flow started without investing, without having something to make people want to buy your makeup? And Tate has an answer for you, and that answer is child labor. Oh my God. So I'm going to play a clip from you. And as an aside, during this clip, when you hear him tell someone to wipe down his whiteboard, it's some random cam worker in his home. It's a young woman who lives with him that he has doing minor chores in the background. This is the thing that he does in all of his videos.
Family and friends are actually the best staff you can possibly get. Now, people say don't mix friends with business, don't mix family with business. Can you clean my board? Sit here and wipe it, please. Don't mix friends with business. Get that shit off. Don't mix friends with business. Don't mix family with business. That's a lie. So the reason people say this is because people are dickheads and they can't get along with anyone. They can't get along with anybody long enough to make any money. But I guarantee you have family members right this second who can make you money. I guarantee you have a 15-year-old niece, nephew, cousin, brother, whoever, who knows more about computers than you do. I guarantee there's a 15-year-old out there with nothing better to do who knows more about Photoshop than you do right now. His stupid ass needs a job. So you can start a company right now.
Yeah, so that seems good, right? That's a solid business idea. Oh have young relatives and trick them into working for you. Absolutely genius. Andrew, you are the finest business mind of our generation. Now, he follows this up with his next incredible piece of corporate advice, which I think might be of interest to some prosecutors in Romania. And I'm going to have Sophie play that one next.
Don't get legal before you get rich. This is super important. We're talking about hustling here. I'm telling you the hacks to becoming rich. Do not get legal before you are rich. You can fix your legal bullshit when you've already made money. It's a shame I've deleted or erased my beautiful makeup diagram. But it's very similar to what we were saying earlier. I know so many people.
His fucking 99-cent store whiteboard.
Registered for VAT, registered with the tax man, already have an accountant, and haven't made any money yet. I, in most of my companies, will make $1 million before I'll even consider fucking around with a tax form, talking to an accountant, or registering any fucking companies. All that shit is on the later base until you have proved the viability of your company and you have money coming in. When you're rich and you have money in the bank, then worry about that stuff. Do not waste your time, energy, and money doing all that legal crap before you know anything about whether your business is going to work or not.
He's telling people to do crime. That's a crime.
It's business advice. It's a time sink. If every time I had to start a company or an idea, I had to go register a company, get an accountant, do tax forms, do VAT forms, what a waste of time. I've started maybe 100 companies in my life. 20 of them made money. You're telling me 80 times I would have had to fuck around? Don't do that. I know so many people who have a company legally, but don't have a company in reality because it exists as a legal entity, but it does not provide cash. A company provides cash. If you're a street drug dealer, you own a company. Much more than the guy with all the legal entities which ain't making money. We're hustlers here. It's the Hustlers University. Do not confuse this. Money in. What's the lessons I've been teaching you? Money in. Where's the money in?
Pointing at the empty whiteboard.
Oh my God. There's nothing written on it.
There's nothing. Oh my God.
Oh. Yeah, so because this is an audio medium, he is like pointing and circling things on an empty whiteboard because he's forgotten that he had one of his cam workers erase everything on it. Obviously, this is terrible advice, in part because if you start a business that doesn't make a profit and you did not do any of the legal things you needed to do, there's a good chance that at some point the tax man will come and say, hey, you didn't do all this shit you needed to do, and we know that, now you owe us a shitload of money, and because your business failed, you owe even more because you broke a bunch of laws. That's one thing that is concerning about the advice that he's giving. Although anyone who's going to start companies using the Andrew Tate advice probably deserves to be in trouble with the IRS or whoever. So I'm not going to complain too much about it. But also, I kind of hope someone in Romania is aware of these videos, because I suspect Andrew Tate did not dot the I's or cross the T's necessary to make all of his shady businesses legal in that country. He was operating casinos and strip clubs in the country once he got rich, like actual ones, not just cam ones. So I kind of think there's a decent chance he will wind up getting extra charges as a result of not legally operating any of his businesses. Fun thing to brag about, Andrew. So the next point he makes in this video of really just irreplaceable financial advice is use what you've got. And this is where Andrew actually gives us some context on how he started his cam business and why. But first, we get a little bit more child labor advocacy.
I just gave you the example of the 15-year-old cousin who can make websites. Now you own a website company. Or your 15-year-old cousin who can do, who knows what he can do. He can mow lawns. Every 15-year-old can mow lawns. Now you have a lawn mowing business. Bang. Tell his stupid ass to go deliver some flyers. Drive him around in your car. Play some 2-pack. Chill out in your car. Text some bitches. Drive at 5 miles an hour. Let him drop off all the leaflets. And then let him mow all the lawns. You collect all the money and just pay him a percentage. Bang. You now own a lawn mowing company. Congratulations. Use what you got. I made a lot of money with webcam girls. If you're watching this and you don't know that, webcam girls. You can go to chatterbait.com. You see girls on there on webcam, getting naked, talking to dudes, taking money. That made me millions and millions of dollars. I came up with that idea by sticking to this principle. Use what you've got. So right now, if you're sitting there.
What are you saying?
You have, and I mean everything.
Oh, wait.
You have a house.
Just wait.
You have a car, it's on lease. You have physical strength. Let's say you're a strong guy. When I was making my list, I was writing everything down. I was like, well, I've got 6 girlfriends. 6 girlfriends. So, okay, how can girls make you money? Strip club, but that takes money to set up. Remember? Costs.
Again, nothing on the whiteboard.
I cannot get money in a strip club without a club. So I looked at all the costs for a strip club and realized it's too expensive before I could get money in. It's too big a risk. Remember? It's too much risk. I could lose $300-400 grand. Can't risk that. How can I get money in? How can I get money in for having hot girls without spending money out? So my first idea was strip club. But I looked at all the costs. I was like, okay, so why do men spend money on girls in strip club? Because the girls are beautiful, they get to look at the girls, see some titties. How can I do that without the club? Well, the internet. If I put them on the internet, it's cheap. This is literally how I thought. I stuck to my business principles. Okay, it's cheap. Start looking up, down, discovered the webcam websites. All right, so I've already got the girls, I've already got a laptop, I've already got the internet. Bang! The day I had the webcam idea, the same day I was making money. I didn't spend any money, but I was making new money because I refused to allow myself to spend. Then I started making new money in with the webcam because I knew I had the internet, I knew I had laptops, I knew I had girls. Use what you've got. Look around you. What people do you have? Does your old mother need a new job? Maybe she's at home and she's bored.
Oh my God.
Maybe she'll mail.
Does your old mother?
Do you have cousins, nieces, nephews? Do you have a girlfriend who has nothing to do? Use what you have.
The most upsetting thing about all of this is like, you can see how like this people can fall for this, or like how people could be susceptible to this. Cause obviously he's taking it to a sick, disgusting extreme, but like at the core of it, like that does make sense on some level. If you have a bunch of, you know, old baseball cards or whatever, you can start selling them at school and make a little extra money. But like he's taking it to such an extreme level of exploitation and illegality that it's like insane. But I could see how someone who's maybe not as savvy or is really gullible could be influenced or fall for this kind of stuff. And that's what makes people like this so fucking dangerous.
Yeah, and what's going on here, there's two things going on here, right? And this is always the case with him. It's the case with like the brags, the lies he makes about his background. It's true, he's pretty good at chess. It's true, his dad was very good at chess. It's true that he was a decent kickboxer. And then he kind of uses that core of truth and then wraps a bunch of lies around it in order to make this persona. It is true that a lot of people with small businesses use their families for free labor, right? There's like laws in the United States where kids normally, there's a lot of restrictions on how they can work, unless it's like a family owned business, right? If you like own a corner store, you can have your 16-year-old work it and they're not subject to all of the restrictions that like 7-Eleven would be if they tried to hire a 16-year-old, right? Like there's some differences there. I'm not saying, by the way, that that's good or bad. I'm just, that's the way that it works. This is pretty normalized. What he is saying is like taking that idea and saying, no. What you should be doing is getting all of these people who are emotionally invested in you and love you and using them as free labor to make yourself rich, right?
Exactly.
Like that's the, and what he's doing there is he's taking the logic of a multi-level marketing company. All of these like Avon kind of fucking bullshit companies where they, or these different like essential oil companies that we've talked about for years on the show, where like all rely on, hey, your friends need this makeup, your friends need these supplements, your friends need this shitty low quality leggings, and you can make a lot of money getting them to sell and getting them in your upline. And you know that's one of the things that's ruined like the social internet. Facebook has become a place where like people you knew 15 years ago get in touch pretending to be your friend and then try to get you to like become a doTERRA representative or some shit. He's using this logic because he knows that it works, but instead of the thing that is obviously shady and that people have kind of more defenses built up around, which is like, hey, try to get your family to like buy into this business. What he's saying is like, no, get them to work for you, you know, offer them like a share of profits or something to, which obviously, you know, and he goes into later detail about how you can fuck them over on that. But he's taking this thing that has been a part of American grift culture for forever, and he's twisting it in a way that is, I think kind of it is new, and this is part of like the thing that he does that's intelligent, but it's also just very transparently awful and evil.
Yeah, and very predatory towards.
Extremely predatory.
Sure. Yeah.
Super exploitative.
And speaking of extremely predatory, I wanna dig into the business genius of Andrew Tate here, because it is worth going into kind of the inevitable sort of conclusions you have to make based off of what he's saying. In the example that he's given, that 15-year-old kid has no reason to give you the money that he's making mowing lawns, right? Because he's doing all of the work, to advertise and to actually mow. You only get your percentage. He does mention earlier, like one of your assets is being strong. The only ways to get a percentage from him are either literally just the threat of violence or gaslighting, making him think that like he's going to make more money than he is and that you won't be making as much money as you are from his labor. And this is true of the cam girls too. His only actual advice boils down to various forms of robbery. And this is particularly clear when he starts talking about the profit-making potential of Uber, which is already exploitative. But Andrew Tate, I'm going to play this next clip to you. This is him talking about how to use Uber in your own business to make money via child labor.
Rent a car. Find a way to rent a car with unlimited mileage per month. Tell him he's going to do 10 hours of Uber a day to train how to drive. Lie to his ass and say that in the Uber app you can track and make sure he ain't breaking the speed limits so he drives safe. Put his ass on Uber, pay for his gas, and give him half the money and keep half for yourself. Bang. Done. Set him up. Get him ready. This is shit. I didn't plan. I'm just telling you things off the top of my head. Because this is how I think as a hustler. I don't need to sit and think. I just know there's money, and I find a way to get the money. That's how I am. So right now, you've got cousins out there who aren't driving Uber. If you can convince them to drive Uber, well then why don't they do it without you? Easy, you can talk some shit. Make some shit up. Hey, have you got an Uber account? No, I'll set it all up for you because it's complicated and there's some tax. I'll handle the tax. Don't pay no tax, just lie. Blah, 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 get them an Uber, get them in cars, bang, bang, bang.
So he just assumes everyone around him is stupid. And
stupid and trusting. He assumes that, like, hey, your cousins probably trust you. Lie in order to rob them.
So far,
make them work for you for basically nothing and steal the money they make.
He suggested making money off of women he's sex trafficking. Old mother was thrown around and literal children.
Yeah, those are his business. Oh, don't forget the makeup company that does not sell makeup.
Right.
He is.
Who could forget?
The finest capitalistic mind of a generation.
Maybe she's born with it. Maybe it doesn't exist.
Maybe it's not actually makeup. It's so funny that like people talk about how smart this guy is and like how he's changed. He changed we'll get into like why people talk about him changing their lives and all this shit.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
At the end of the day, what he's offering here is like, hey, rob your friends and family. It's the same MLM thing, but he has, and this is I think. Credit seems like a weird way to say it, but it is needful to acknowledge this is an innovation. The way in which he is telling people to rob their friends and family in order to try to get rich, and it won't work for them. Most of them. This obviously, I think this is what Tate does. He has his brother work for him and his cousins work for him. If you are the right kind of psychopath, you can make money this way. It's just that even of the people who are interested in Hustlers University, most of them are not that kind of psychopath. And so they're not going to be successful, or they're just not a smart enough psychopath.
Robert, did you say how much people were paying for this class?
So these were, it changed over time.
Okay.
At first it was like a per class thing. Eventually it's going to change to a monthly fee, and obviously actual sales figures you're never going to get, but Tate makes like in the millions of dollars from
of this.
Off of the version 1. And he iterates quickly. By 2021, he ditched the like courses and picking up women and running cam businesses to focus on this new venture. Like this thing that he does, because this is like the early version of Hustlers University. This is the thing that works really well. And so he decides, being intelligent in a very specific way, he decides he's going to spin this into the main business that he's going to do. And he opts to, in 2021, relaunch Hustlers University as Hustlers University 2.0. And we're going to get into that.
What a wonderful and innovative title.
It's so infuriating because it's like kind of brilliant, like the timing of it, because like 2020, 2021, a lot of people are out of work or have more free time that they're
ready to hustle,
ready to hustle, make some extra cash on the side. And he's just like preying on that.
It's also like timing wise specifically, I want to just emphasize on that. A lot of kids are home alone. A lot of kids are doing remote learning school and have access to whether that be a computer or an iPad or some kind of digital device, and are home alone without supervision. And, you know, the algorithms have brought them to Andrew Tate, and
he got him.
And he's got him, and he's offering them. The other thing that's happening here too, you know, we're talking around this. They're at home.
They're lonely
because of the pandemic. They're lonely. Also, the cost of living is skyrocketing,
right?
And people, especially in the UK, this is less the case in the US, but in the UK, where he has a lot of his fans, there's like a financial crisis hitting, right? Like things have not been great for the last year and change over in the United Kingdom, which is why it's so easy to buy things with British pounds right now. Sorry, y'all. It just is at the moment. And so Tate is recognizing that like there's a lot of young kids who are starting to come into the economy, and realizing how hard it is to just tread water. And so they're desperate for anything that will give them a hope of getting out of the fucking con game that is life under capitalism. And that's what fucking Tate is taking advantage of, is these kids who are looking for a hack to get out of the trap. And yeah, we're going to talk about what he does next and how well it fucking works. And spoilers, we'll have an appearance from Alex Jones in part 4, the final part of this glorious series. But first, Ian, Sophie, y'all got stuffs to plugs?
Ian, what do you have to plug? Anything?
Yeah, Ian.
I would say just, check out Internet Hate Machine. It's one of the other
more like Internet
shows.
Tate Machine. Sorry, that's not right at
all. That's not what the show is about.
No, it is not.
It's another Cool Zone Media show that I work on. It's a great show with Bridget Todd. Really relevant and interesting topic about the hellscape that is social media right now. And I would also just say plug just being kind to others, being a nice, respectful person in this world. Life is already hard enough. It's free to not be an asshole. So I'd say that.
Wow. You say it's free to not be an asshole, but if you consider the fact that by not putting your mom and your child cousins to work, you're leaving money on the table, it actually can be extremely expensive not to be an asshole. You can hear more on my 9-hour series.
Robert, shut the
Committing
fuck up.
Crimes using your family members as Patsy's University. Where I teach you.
Do I get to plug?
Sure.
Is it
sure,
my
Sophie.
turn? Okay, I want to plug two books that are available for pre-order right now. The first of which is Jamie Loftus's book about hot dogs called Raw Dog. It is available for pre-order. Go to her social medias for all that info, and also our very own Margaret Killjoy of Cool People Who Did Cool Stuff, which Ian also edits, has a book available for pre-sale also called Escape from Incel Island, and I would like to plug those two books. Check out both of their social medias to get info on that.
Bold and heroic of you, Sophie. And I want to plug my new business course, Crime Guy University, where I teach you how to take, you got a mom who's out of work, you got some young cousins. Look, you can monetize that shit through the simple, legal, easy method of getting them to sell heroin for you.
You know what's really cool about this business though, Robert? That I get 80%.
Sophie does get 80%, which is why you should listen to Sophie's 16-hour course. That's called Literally Starting a Cartel. This is sponsored by our friends at the Sinaloa Cartel.
Yeah, Sinaloa Sophie, that's what we call her.
Sinaloa Sophie, that's her nickname. Anyway.
We'll be back. Bye.
We'll be back, unfortunately.
Bye.
Segregation in the day, integration at night.
When segregation was the law, one mysterious black club owner had his own rules.
We didn't worry about what went on outside. It was like stepping in another world.
Inside Charlie's place, black and white people danced together. But not everyone was happy about it.
You saw the KKK?
Yeah, they was dressed up in their uniform.
The KKK set out to raid Charlie, take him away from here.
Charlie was an example of power. They had to crush him.
From Atlas Obscura, Rococo Punch, and Visit Myrtle Beach comes Charlie's Place, a story that was nearly lost to time. Until now. Listen to Charlie's Place on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Segregation in the day, integration at night.
When segregation was the law, one mysterious black club owner had his own rules.
We didn't worry about what went on outside. It was like stepping in another world.
Inside Charlie's Place, black and white people danced together. But not everyone was happy about it.
You saw the KKK?
Yeah, they was dressed up in their uniform.
The KKK set out to raid Charlie, take him away from here.
Charlie was an example of power. They had to crush him.
From Atlas Obscura, Rococo Punch, and Visit Myrtle Beach comes Charlie's Place. A story that was nearly lost to time. Until now. Listen to Charlie's Place on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Almost 30 years together, 4 kids, and some of reality TV's most unforgettable moments, we know a thing or two about living life out loud. We're taking you behind the scenes in our new podcast, Between Us, with me, Heather Dubrow.
And me, Terry Dubrow. Between Us isn't about perfect lighting or curated Instagram grids.
It's the unfiltered, behind closed doors conversations you wish you could eavesdrop on. Equal parts smart, funny, and a little bit scandalous.
Every week, Heather will bring you an unapologetic take on the headlines, the trends, and the cultural moments everyone's texting about.
And Terry will deliver insider beauty, health, and wellness insights you won't find on TikTok.
Together, we'll tell the stories, spill the secrets, and share the hacks that keep life, marriage, and everything in between feeling fresh and fun.
We may live in a gated community, but there's zero gatekeeping here.
And plenty of did they just say that moments?
Listen to Between Us on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Anna Navarro, and on my new podcast, Bleep with Anna Navarro, I'm talking to the people closest to the biggest issues happening in your community and around the world. Because I know deep down inside right now, we are all cursing and asking, what the bleep is going on? I'm talking to people like Julie K. Brown, who broke the explosive story on Jeffrey Epstein in 2018. These victims have been let down time and time again for decades and decades and decades by local law enforcement, by federal law enforcement, by administration after administration.
The Justice Department, through, I think we counted 4 presidential administrations, failed these victims.
Listen to Bleep with Anna Navarro as part of the My Cultura podcast network, available on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back to Behind the Bastards, the podcast that I just tried to introduce badly, and I then completely forgot to start recording. So I'm great. I'm so good.
Do we have a guest? What's the name of the show? What's happening?
I don't know, Sophie. Do we have a guest? Who are we? What do we do? Where are we?
This is Behind the Bastards. You're Robert Evans. I'm your overlord, Sophie Lichterman, and our guest is Ian Johnson, our wonderful editor. Hi, Ian.
Wow.
Hey, Sophie. Hi,
Ian
Robert.
Johnson, incredible editor. Sophie, Podcastenführer.
It's not the first time he's done that, and it's cringy every time.
It won't be the last.
It will not be the last. No, it will not. Well, we're talking about Andrew Emery Tate. And boy, howdy, are we talking about Andrew Emery Tate. We just finished talking about Hustlers University, and we're about to get into Hustlers University 2.0 because Andrew understands branding, if nothing else. But before we get into that, I wanted to talk a little bit. So obviously, while this is going on, while he's launching this series of online classes and deliberately courting controversy online by saying like fucked up shit about women to go viral, he's also constantly guesting on every right-wing podcast that will have him.
Sure.
And because of the world is the way it is, InfoWars is the first place he's able to like really get some traction. And he's going to abandon them as soon as he can, like everybody who gets their start on InfoWars, because it's a dead end. You want to escape InfoWars and get on. He's going to eventually be interviewed by like fucking Piers Morgan and shit. But at first he's reliant upon them. And Alex Jones sees the potential in this guy and decides, I want to try and make Andrew a part of my business, which is a thing that Alex does regularly. And it leads us to this beautiful ad for the supplement line that Alex made, branded based on Andrew Tate. So here's an ad for Andrew Tate branded InfoWars supplements.
Oh boy.
Oh, this is a real treat for everyone.
Oh boy.
to get a job, the man to get a job. They inflate the currency so nobody can exist any other way because it's too expensive. The parents are out working all day. The school and the internet and the matrix raise your children. Your children go to school all day and be told things that you may not want them to learn. Then they sit on the internet and read things and watch things you may not want them to watch. You talk to them for 10 minutes at the end of the day and they go to bed. You're fighting with your 10 minutes against endless hours of the most entertaining programming or the most forceful programming. In school, it's forceful. On the internet, it's entertaining. Convincing them of ideas that you perhaps don't agree with. I've seen it myself on YouTube. I've seen a guy in America driving his car and his kids were in the back seat and he was arguing with them about an issue. And they was like, where did you hear that? School? He's like, why did the school tell you that? That's not true. And his own children are arguing with him because they learned it in school. Have you ever tried to take your children out of school? You'll get fined. You'll get in trouble. No, your kids have to go to school. Yeah. You have to give your kids away to the school. If you don't give your kids away to the brainwashing, you'll get in trouble.
As an all-star fighter, businessman, motivational speaker.
Okay,
there we go.
The switch is incredible.
It is.
That was like a punch in the face. Here we go.
This is so flawless.
So did I. I thought I fucked something up. No, just like
leading us in with like this mix of Christian conservative fear-mongering and like divorced dad fear-mongering.
Oh my God.
It's perfect. It's perfect. And then we get Alex.
Let's go.
Speaker and philanthropist, Andrew Tate has truly earned the title of Top G. But there's another title Andrew Tate holds that has enraged the globalist. He is consecutively the most Googled man in the world in the last 2 years. And that's because his message is about human and specifically male empowerment. Now, Andrew Tate is taking his fight to empower and supercharge men to the next level. Introducing Top G Supplements. We are proud to introduce and sponsor the Top G line of supplements by Andrew Tate and his crew. Now you have the chance to benefit in body, mind, and soul with the same supplements that Andrew Tate takes himself. Learn more about these amazing products at AndrewTatePower.com. AndrewTatePower.com and discover the power of Andrew Tate's new supplements that are the highest quality on the market.
I think there's a whole bunch of men in the world who understands my value. And if men grow up to be like me, you're going to have a whole bunch of people with no criminal record, dedicated athletes.
All right, that's probably enough.
God.
Yeah, no criminal record, huh, buddy?
The amount of jump scares in that video. So first of all, the music transition, amazing.
It's
Second
flawless.
Of all, jump
Absolutely
scare, Alex
flawless.
Jones' voice. Third of all, Jake Paul's face.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like,
did you see the names of the supplements on the?
No,
on the
I didn't.
Oh yeah,
I
let's
was too
go through
horrified.
that. That's probably
what do we got, Ian?
That's probably useful.
It was they were like those names from that like other video we watched in the last episode. It was like sheer per I don't even know those words, like sheer perdacity or whatever.
Perspicacity,
like,
yeah.
Perspicacity. Those were like the names of the supplements.
Yeah, because he's trying to do like a Muhammad Ali thing, right? Like Muhammad Ali would always describe himself in these very florid, often like rhyming terms. But Muhammad Ali also could back up every single thing he said about himself, which Mr. Tate cannot. But it also doesn't matter because it's all about making the image work. So by 2021, Andrew Tate's image is working very well. He has become one of the most popular accounts on Twitter, on Instagram. He's got a pretty prominent YouTube. He is huge on TikTok. You know, we're talking like millions and millions of followers and combined several billion impressions just in like the top G term on TikTok and shit. And so he launches Hustlers University 2.0. So he had been selling a bunch of different classes. He pares that down and he focuses just on money-making schemes. And the gist is this: for about $50 a month, you get the classes for free, and you also get let into this Discord community.
For $50 a month, you get the classes for free. So, but what about the $50 a month?
Well, sorry, you don't get the classes for free. For $50 a month, you get access to the classes and to a series of Discord rooms. Discord is like a chat service.
Yeah.
You can do voice and text chat. And basically what he is selling is, I built this community of people who have gotten rich using my tactics. And if you pay this monthly fee, then you'll get to hang out with us and they will coach you on how to make money. And you can watch all of our videos on how to make money too. And
God damn it. That's like kind of brilliant on two levels, and I hate him for it because a subscription model is just passive income coming in every month as long as you can maintain that subscriber base. And now he has other people doing the work for him. He has his like community of underlings doing the teachings. He doesn't even have to do anything.
He's actually good at. And the schemes that because he has like, you get to pick like one of 3 or 4 different money making paths to go down when you join Hustlers University. It's a little like a video game.
Choose your adventure.
And they're all kind of boring. Basically, you can choose to either learn how to day trade, like do stock trading, or learn how to sell cryptocurrency, or learn how to run like a copywriting mill where you're basically paying people pennies to write like terrible, shitty fake books to take advantage of Amazon's algorithm and trick people into paying like $2 for. There's also a lot of Amazon affiliate shit. A bunch of it involves taking advantage of like the ways that Amazon works. And it's one of those things, if you watch YouTube and you don't have YouTube Red or whatever the fuck YouTube calls their subscription service, which I don't because I'm lazy, you get all these like shady ads for people telling you like, I'm going to teach you how to make a bunch of money off of YouTube or off of Amazon. Like, did you know that you could get rich, creating Amazon affiliate links or with Audible or whatever? That's all he's doing. But instead of selling it as like this shady video just on how to make money using Amazon, he's giving you access to this community of distinguished men who all smoke cigars and post pictures of how much money they're making. And because all these other guys, again, it's taking a lot of these MLM tactics where you're surrounding yourselves in this community of other men who are going to be bragging constantly that they're making money. So you feel like if I'm not making money, it's not because this video is bullshit. It's because I'm not hustling hard enough. I'm not taking advantage of all of the great advice that I've gotten. It's a pretty clever thing to do. And he does encourage his people like post your sales, post what you're making this month. And all of that's kind of gamed and a lot of it's very scammy in the same way that like a lot of MLM stuff is, where it's like, yeah, just post your raw sales. Don't tell people what your net is. Don't tell people how much money you had to put into the business to make it work, all that good stuff. And Tate, again, is barely present on the actual Hustlers University Discord. But what he does do is when he launches this new version of the service, he spins up his media appearances in like all these different right-wing podcasts and hustler culture podcasts to push the store. And he also alters his branding at this point. Earlier, he'd kind of been indistinguishable from, he'd been kind of at the nexus of pickup artist and alt-right political weirdo, but he increasingly pivots to positioning himself as kind of like a jacked and rich Jordan Peterson. And I want to play you a video that gives you an example of that.
Let's quickly talk about like the red pill, the day game guys. This is why they're wrong. And this is what they don't understand. Listen to me and I'll teach you how to get girls on Tinder and I'll teach you how to go out and get girls at the mall all day. If you are walking around the mall all day or you're tendering all day, you are giving out attention. And you're giving out more than you'll ever get back because you're a man. You're giving attention out and you don't get enough back. So that's an energy deficit. And it zaps you of your powers. Before you know it, you're going to end up one of them little red pill dorks sitting there. Well, I'm in the manosphere. I'm an alpha. Bro, you're 5'7". You're not a fucking alpha. How are you an alpha if you're like 5'8"? Alpha of what? Walk into a fucking room of basketball players, multimillionaires, 6'5", big, and talk about how alpha you are because of your YouTube channel. Fucking these guys live in a dream. Alpha has always, for the longest period of human time, meant capability for violence. That's what alpha has always meant. Apex predator. A little short dude. I'm an alpha. All right, bro. Of course you are. Let's meet and let's not even talk. Let's meet and let's just measure our heights. Let's just take a picture side by side of me and you. And let's talk about how alpha you are afterwards. Fucking dorks. So they're giving out energy. They don't get energy back. The correct way to get pussy like I have is to absorb the energy from everyone in the room and then expel it in a fireball, a lightning strike of power and prowess, so that all the bitches want to fuck you and they pray you come and say hello. That's how you get bitches. You don't go and beg them and give energy away. No, you steal the energy from every other male and then you expel it in a ball of fucking lightning.
What's happening behind him?
Sounds like he's been watching a lot of Dragon Ball Z. Yeah. Like, what the hell is he talking about?
What is happening behind him?
Someone's cleaning his house.
But why is she so close to him?
Because he likes to show you that. Like, that's a big part of his, he does this in all of his, like, a lot of his videos. He'll make sure that, like, his cleaning lady or one of his cam girls is, like, doing a task behind him to, like, make the point that he's got all these women working for him, right? Like, that's a huge part of the Tate myth. But what he's doing here in this video is interesting to me. He's deliberately, he's positioning himself as the opposite of both these whiny men's rights activist guys and of the standard pickup artist crew. And he's all this talk about height, this talk about alphas. He is playing to incels because, like, he knows that very young men, mostly in their late teens, who are, like, angry about the fact that girls don't like them and angry about the fact that, like, they don't have all of the money and success they think that they're owed, that, like, that's his business, right? That's his fucking bread and butter.
Why is he choosing to, like, alienate all the short people?
He's not. Yeah. This is actually a 2-part con, and what he's doing here is he's getting them.
So I was gonna say, it's like kind of sounds like he's like dunking on exactly who he like is targeting, but I think it's probably like a little reverse psychology.
He is doing some negging and stuff, right, to get these guys riled up. But he's also, so if you remember back, I don't know if any of you read Elliot Rodger's manifesto. Elliot Rodger being the first incel mass shooter. He talks a lot, and he, like, the entire incel community was formed initially as a reaction to pickup artistry, right? All of these guys who feel like there's something inherently wrong with their bodies that makes it impossible for them to pick up women in an unfair way, or that feminism has ruined it. Rodger was obsessed that because he wasn't, like, tall enough or white enough, right, that he was never going to get a girl. They initially, when they were, like, younger, fell into pickup artistry, and when that didn't work, because none of it works very well, they became violent psychopath. Like, they became violent, right? Like, they decided, like, not only was the, like, pickup artistry a con, but all of society deserved to pay for the fact that they got conned by pickup artists. Andrew recognizes this, and so the first thing he's doing is he is going after the pickup artists, right? And he's going after it in a way that's going to get all these incel dudes, like, agitated, but is also going to play to the fact that they realize they're being conned by these people. And I think that's an interesting choice. And the other thing that he's doing, he starts by talking about how, like, you're not alpha if you're not tall enough, right? But he's also framing it as, like, these pickup artists aren't real alphas because they're not big. And it sounds at first like he's kind of going into this, it's hopeless if you're not tall, you'll never get a woman. That's actually not the claim that he's making. I'm going to play you another clip that's kind of an extension of his message that shows how he's talking to these incel folks after he gets through with the kind of slamming the pickup artist crew. And the message that he has for the actual people being taken advantage of by the pickup artist community is kind of liberatory in a weird way.
Now, I have genetic gifts I understand you do not have, but I've also worked on my genetic gifts. I didn't just have them, I worked. But even if you did the work I did, you'd still be top 1%, even without the genetics, because you have no idea how hard I've worked. But the point is, if I teach you how to absorb energy from everyone else around you, then you instantly become the most powerful person in the room. So it's not only so much about being big and being strong and having a Lambo, it's about absorbing energy and attention. So what you people do not understand. And 99% of the things people teach you, they teach you how to expel energy. You can expel and lose huge amounts of energy chasing bitches and trying to make money. But you don't get enough back. Whereas if you can flip the script, then the whole world changes. This is what you need to understand.
So that there,
he's insufferable.
Is it? But this is worth really drilling into and paying attention to, because this is an extremely appealing message to the kind of young men who are, like, on the edge of where Elliot Rodger was, right? These children and these guys, they're starting out in the world. Mostly we're talking young white teenagers, though not exclusively, but, like, men. And it's hard out there. Obviously, it is still easier to be a man or a white man than it is to be basically anything else. But it's not as much easier as it used to, right? And some of that's because things are less unfair than they used to be in some regards. And some of it's just because the economy's gotten worse, the world has gotten harder, a number of things. There's a lot of shit's gotten uglier. Capitalism has kind of gotten more undeniably brutal, even to the the chunk of people who were initially being lifted up by it. And so these kids get out there and shit's not as easy. They're not getting handed the things that they're supposed to get handed. And a lot of them turn nihilistic. And the radical right has always targeted men in this age group and socioeconomic group. And these are, again, young people who recognize, and some of what they're recognizing, like with Robert Bly's folks, is fair. There's a lot of atomization in our society. It is not encouraged for men to have like intimate friendships with other men. It's deeply lonely. It's deeply competitive in a way that's really vicious. And these people are suffering. And the right always has made a lot of their early recruitments by kind of coming in and finding these men trying to make sense of their suffering and offering them an answer. But while the kind of incel youth culture that has been deeply influential online is super nihilistic, Tate is reaching out to these people, and he's preaching to these awkward, nerdy kids with social anxiety, but he's offering them a sense of hope where he's like, yeah, you're not going to be like me because you're not 6'3" if you're like 5'7", but if you put in the work I've put in, you can still be in that top 1%, right? It's about taking and absorbing energy, and I have these tactics. Your genetics are not the only thing that matters, right? You can actually overcome that with enough work, and find a way to make money and get women, right? Like that is actually the pitch that he's making. And for the people who are kind of adjacent to these incel communities, that's a more optimistic pitch than they've been getting from a lot of people. Again, if you spend a lot of time on some of these incel boards, it's dudes obsessing with like, oh, because of my chin is only this wide and not this wide, so it's physically impossible for a woman to love me. Or like, I have this like epicanthic eye fold or whatever, or like my nose is this size, and so I will never have sex. And like, this is a biological reality. And what Tate's actually saying is the people telling you this are full of shit, but also like, I have a tactic for how you can, and it just involves hard work. It doesn't matter that you don't have these genetic gifts. You actually can overcome that. And this is when you start talking about Tate on any kind of open forum, right? You're going to get people coming in and saying some version of, he's the only reason I'm alive. He kept me from killing myself, or like, I think he's talking to, and this is because, as toxic as he is, finding Andrew Tate, if you are one of these young men who might have gone Elliot Rodger, might be better for you than like falling down the rabbit hole you would have fallen down before him. That's not necessarily an inaccurate statement.
Right. He tricks them into having hope.
Yeah, exactly. And I again, the point I'm making here, I am not saying that he is a net good. He's absolutely not. But when people who are specifically look like we're kind of in danger of falling into this incel rabbit hole, if they find Tate, that might be better for them than the road they would have gone down. Now, that's a small subset of the folks who are actually encountering his stuff. But when people make that point, it's not there's not nothing there. But and it's not because Tate cares about saving kids. It's because this is how to get money from them, right?
Exactly. And it just speaks to, again, how exploitative the whole thing is, because you're going after these people who are already very clearly vulnerable and at a low point, and you're just preying on that and taking advantage of it. And it's just like, it's just disgusting.
It's all disgusting, but I also think it's really worth understanding the degree to which he understands the online ecosystem he's feeding in, right?
And that's why it's so effective.
He's basically telling them that, their greatest insecurities don't matter as long as they're, they try to be like him and be big tough man.
Yeah, be a top G. Yeah. One of his big lines is, "You don't have to be handsome if you're scary."
Oh,
by which he means that like ugly dudes can get women if they're jacked. Which is, again, that's very bad. Although you could argue it's better than you should drive a car into a crowd because you'll never find love, right? So this is why people make that argument. It doesn't mean that he's a net force for good, because, spoiler, he is not. He's a terrible person, and his overall impact is a ton of harm. But on this specific community, there is an argument to be made, and that's where that argument comes from, right? And again, the idea that like he shouldn't be deplatformed because he's going to save all these incels is nonsense. It's just not coming out of nowhere, right? Because that is where his money comes from, right? That's the group of people he's decided to take advantage of. And I do think in the long run, he might wind up having just as much of a negative effect on these kids as the pickup artist had on Elliot Rodger. It just hasn't been going on that long, because eventually they're going to see none of what he says works, right? Like in the long run, it's not going to work. It's just in the short term less nihilistic than drive your car into a crowd, although it might still end in the same place. But you know who won't tell kids to... Oh boy, Sophie, just roll the ads. We are back. So Tate is kind of, while a lot of his pitch is laser targeted at young men going down that specific incel rabbit hole, once he kind of captures that demographic, again, he's an innovator. He starts to broaden his appeal as fast as he can, because he wants to reach as many vulnerable young men as he possibly can. And he is a cognizant person of the time that he's in. He recognizes there's a lot of movement and there's a lot of cultural momentum behind certain left-wing ideas, including criticisms of capitalism. I actually think people don't recognize enough how superficially critical of capitalism Andrew Tate is and how much of his appeal comes from that. And to kind of exhibit that, I want to play a clip from him on the Fresh and Fit podcast, which he is sitting in between like 7 or 8 women who look like...
lot.
They're all Instagram kind of done up, influencer type people. Yeah.
That's bullshit. That's slave mind garbage, feminist, racist, garbage crap that's been put in your brain that you need to resist. Absolutely. Nothing to do with Eurocentrism. It's bullshit. It's garbage.
Facts.
You need to resist that kind of shit. I'm telling you, the problems with the world today are very, very specific. And I state this without patronizing you. I don't want to patronize you. I'm an old man. I've been around the block. The problems in the world today exist because the people who are in charge of the world have done a very, very clever thing. They've specifically designed the world in which a way that the people at the bottom, because we're all at the bottom, even me with all my millions, right? The people at the bottom are so busy fighting with each other that we never look up and realize we're getting fucked. And the reason they do that, the blacks hate the whites, Republicans hate the Democrats, the men hate the women. Eurocentric, he said this, you don't have pay gap, blah, blah, blah. It's all slave mind shit to keep us all fighting amongst each other. Do you think when a billionaire who's black meets a billionaire who's white, they talk about race?
No.
Fuck no. You think a female billionaire and a male billionaire meet, they start talking about Eurocentrism, feminist fucking garbage? No. Stop buying into that shit. It's a fucking trick and it's a fucking lie. All of it. Throw it away. Throw it the fuck away. If you want to be attractive as a female, you know what you need to do. You need to go to the fucking gym. And just because Myron said it, you need to be smart enough. You need to be smart enough to not let yourself get triggered by the fact that he just said something you're not used to hearing. No. That's all it is. Yeah. That's all it is. Of course.
I hated every second of that.
It is miserable, but he's, again, that is a superficial kind of class analysis, right? Where he's talking about billionaires all have solidarity with each other. We're all poor, and he's lying about this. He is. I was like, he's a multi-millionaire, possibly multi-hundreds of millions of dollars. But you see what he's doing. He recognizes everyone hates these billionaires. You cannot ignore inequality and the role that it has on like why all these young men who are vulnerable to my message are suffering. So I have to fucking play to that, right? And again, is offering this kind of, he starts with this thing that has elements of left-wing analysis to it, elements of like, capitalism is a con game. The rich are a class and they have solidarity with each other and they're trying to keep you guys fighting so that you don't organize against them. There's pieces of left-wing analysis there. But then Tate's solution is not dismantle the system. It's not go after these guys. It's treat it like a trap you escape by getting rich and jacked. Right? It's the same. Again, look back to Robert Bly, where he's very accurately stating, here are some fucked up things capitalism is doing to men. Here are ways in which capitalism and the patriarchy is harming men. The solution is for men to like go out into the woods and play drums and learn how to hunt and stuff. Not the solution is for men and women to organize to make a more just society that doesn't harm us in these ways. Tate's doing a version of the same thing. Like Bly, he's diagnosing parts of the problem, and then the thing he's selling you is, here's how you personally can get out of it by doing this thing that feeds money to me, right?
He's insufferable.
He's insufferable, but it works.
Yeah.
And obviously other people are pushing pieces of this message on young folks. But his presentation is the most polished. He is a good speaker. And I don't mean that in the, you should like the way he speaks. I mean it in he's effective at speaking and getting his message across.
He's always the most obnoxious in the room. He's the loudest in the room.
And you
make sure of that.
He does. And if you watch him with these young men, like these other male influencers on their podcasts, he's so good at sucking energy from them. Like, he actually does know how to do that. He's very good at not even talking over them, but at making the focus of the conversation whatever he wants it to be, and making himself the person that people are focusing on. That's a thing he knows how to do. And it's and I think probably the smartest thing he's done in this whole process is co-opt the Matrix movies in his messaging, and that sounds very silly. The thing that Tate does is he positions the Matrix as the normal world where you like work for some company 40 or whatever hours a week just to scrape by, and if you're lucky, maybe buy a house someday. And the thing that Andrew tells people is that, like, this is what you have to break out of, right? Not that like you have to make a more equitable system, but you have to escape the Matrix like Neo does, and it's just about freeing yourself. And
screw everybody else. It's just about you getting yourself out.
Yeah,
right?
And once he gets kids to accept that idea, the thing he tells them that they need to drop out of school and spend the money they would spend on college on Hustlers University. That is a massive part of his pitch. And again, it's not hard to see why this stuff is appealing to a lot of young kids. It's married to some of the worst misogyny imaginable too, though. He tells young men that like they should not learn how to cook. That's a waste of time. They should find a woman to cook for them. They should focus on making money. Women shouldn't be allowed to leave the house. They shouldn't have friends of their own. This is all stuff that Tate preaches too, alongside the stuff that's less fucked up. In Tate's ideology, women being able to have their own careers and lives is also part of the Matrix, right? He starts from this reasonable position, capitalism is kind of a con job, and then he pivots to telling kids that the real con is anything that limits the ability of young men to do whatever they want in any way. And I want to play you now a video that he made to advertise Hustlers University 2.0. Because it's something else.
You cannot stop. You cannot give up. You're in the most fantastic place on the planet for making money, Hustlers University, and the only person who can ruin that is you. Most of you are happy to be losers part-time. You want to escape. That's why you joined. You don't want to be a loser anymore. But then that new video game comes out. I'll just play the video game. I'll just be a loser for 2 more weeks. Then I'll get back to trying to escape the Matrix. It doesn't work that way, because you jump in and out of complacency from I'm happy to be a loser and do loser things to I can't be a loser anymore. And when you jump in and out, you never get momentum. You cannot quit. You cannot give up. You need that momentum to break free. When a rocket is flying out towards the moon to escape the atmosphere, it doesn't fucking pause halfway up the sky, does it? No, it keeps going. Every single second you're not in Hustlers University, there are things happening, conversations happening that you're not watching, information. That could be the one little piece of information you need to break out. It could be that one little sentence that changes everything. You're in Hustlers University and you're going to make money, but it ain't easy. It ain't going to be given to you on a plate. You're going to have to work. You're in competition with the entire world. Everyone wants to escape. You cannot be lazy.
Okay, that's probably enough.
The filming on this is so weird. It jumps back and forth between his cars. He's like clearly holding an empty mug to look powerful.
It's, I think, filmed in a way that like is meant so that they can cut it up for TikTok more easily. You see this with like the Liver King too. A lot of these guys their longer YouTube videos will have kind of a weird vibe because they're mainly filming it to cut it up for TikTok. But you see here, he's like, there's this fear of missing out. You're not doing enough. You've got to break like free. You're in competition with everybody else. And it's interesting because when he's talking this stuff, it's extremely modern and it's almost apolitical, right? Like there was not a thing in that is like you could super define as like a particularly political rant. Tate is a very political guy, and when he gets into his opinions about like women shouldn't be allowed to leave the house, you realize he's actually kind of like a traditionalist religious fundamentalist, which we will be building towards. But he's smart enough that he doesn't get stuck in the traps that a lot of religious fundamentalists fall into trying to reach out to young men. He doesn't start with any of that. It's stuff that kind of comes out later in some of his other rants. And he gets this. There will be moments where he will make these arguments about stuff like military service that actually wouldn't seem out of place if you're listening to some like left-wing bread tuber going on a rant. I want to play you this clip here because it shows how much he's kind of separated himself from the traditional right-wing grift sphere, or at least the traditional conservative grift sphere.
I think you're a fool. You're gonna go die for what? Biden? I'm trying to protect American freedom. Yeah, you're gonna protect the freedom of those people in Nebraska by going over to Yemen and bombing some 13-year-old farmers. Great job. Stupid. You ain't protecting nothing but profits for companies that don't care about you. You should only protect yourself and your boys. I fought for myself, became a world champion, got some money. You're not even getting any money, get your leg blown off. Walk around with one leg, Mr. Limpy. Mr. Limpy, G, for what? For Biden? He doesn't care about you. Don't be stupid. Don't be dumb. Limp your ass out of my channel. I'm joining.
See, that's
first of all, you should only protect your boys made me audibly vomit. But
well, that's how we work here at Cool Zone.
No. No. But just like him going like firm anti-military and anti-Biden, like you're clearly know your audience.
Yeah, it's these kids who grew up right after, because like, I mean, Ian and Sophie and I, we all grew up kind of right in the wake of 9/11 and all of that, like where the military was this like sacred, uncriticizable thing in mainstream American culture. That era is past, and I mean, obviously in the UK, it was always a bit different, but like that era is well past. And you can get, I mean, Trump did versions of this, right? When he would talk about how you're like a loser if you get injured for your country, it would always, all these Democrats who are stuck in like 2006 would always get like, this has to be the end for him. Look, he told people that like injured veterans are chumps. And it's like, no, it doesn't matter. They're perfect. People are perfectly willing to say that they are chumps because this modern conservatism, the modern right is so purely focused on the grift and on personally sucking as much money out as you can from people around you that it doesn't matter. Tate realizes that. There's no need to be ashamed of this thing. And it can draw in folks who are like open to listening to these kind of left-wing arguments. He starts to make one there where he's like, all you're doing joining the military is murdering kids in Yemen. You can find versions of that in like Marxist like influencer YouTube rants and shit.
I would be so curious to know like the specific things that he watched and read where he what specifically he learned, like what he's been
I mean
yeah, exactly.
I think he spends a lot of time, and he says he spends all of his time online, like he's working all the time.
Obvious.
I think a lot of it is he's paying attention to what's going viral where, and he's not just paying attention to what goes viral on the right. And one of the things that happened when he got arrested is you had all of these left-wing weirdos online, guys like Vosh is the one that I remember most specifically being like, well, you know, Andrew Tate's bad, but the left needs someone like him who can speak to young men in this way. And it's like, well, all he's doing is he's using as bait little pieces of left-wing social analysis and class analysis in order to get people on the hook. And then he's trying to sell them on turning their 15-year-old cousins into Uber drivers. Like that is all that is here. There's no need to replicate this. He's not actually offering people anything. He's just the thing that he's promising them, rather than like the grinding act of trying to reform the world in a more just way. He's promising them you can get a Lamborghini. Well, yes, that's always going to be a better pitch to a lot of people than if we all work hard and fight like hell, we can make the world more just. But you can't, there's no replicating what Tate's doing, because the only thing he's promising is a chance at like winning the lottery, basically, right? That's not actually a thing you should shoot for. That's my opinion here. So all of the videos that I've been playing for you, nearly all of them, come from fans who will compile clips of his various interviews and podcast appearances and put them up on social media. Since Tate has been banned from most platforms, this is the only way his content gets out. But more than that, it's part of a cohesive media strategy that's how he became famous in the first place. Tate built his empire knowing that this would happen. And I'm going to quote from The Guardian here. Since January, repackaged videos from interviews with Tate over the years have been attracting millions of views on TikTok, but in recent weeks, this growth has accelerated. In August so far alone, clips tagged with his name have been watched more than 1 billion times. The posts do not come from Tate himself, who does not appear to be active on the platform, but from hundreds of accounts, often using his name and photo. Run by his followers, members of Hustlers University. Members, including boys as young as 13, are told they can earn up to $10,000 a month through lessons on crypto investing, drop shipping, and by recruiting others to Hustlers University, earning a 48% commission for each person they refer. To have the best chance of getting people to sign up, they are advised to stoke controversy to improve their chances of going viral. In one guide, Hustlers University's students are told that attracting comments and controversy is the key to success. What you ideally want is a mix of 60-70% fans and 40 to 30% haters. You want arguments. You want war. And this is the thing he did that's brilliant. Mid 2022, there was this thing where all of these left-wing influencers and liberal influencers and media people found out about Andrew Tate, and for weeks you could not miss him.
He was
everywhere. All of these mainstream media people, like Piers Morgan interviewed him. There were a couple other, someone at CNN talked to him, I think. Like there were all these, and all of them were condemning him. All of them were attacking him. A lot of them were making fun of him and trying to show him as a loser. All it did was make him millions of dollars. This is why when people were celebrating, like Greta dunking on him, I was like, guys, this is how he got rich. Thankfully, he happened to get arrested after that. But like, this is how he got rich. The only reason that we're doing these episodes now is, number one, I think the strategy, the whole sweep of it is important. I wasn't willing to do something like this until I thought there was a good chance he's not getting out of fucking prison. I mean, we'll see. He might still come back to it, but I figured it was worth doing at this point.
I think it's interesting that like his reach, where he was going on literally CNN, but also was doing like he did like an interview on
the Fit and Trim podcast,
Fit and Trim podcast, but also like he did an entire interview on this like TikTok teen show with Barstool Sports BFFs.
Yes, we'll have a clip from that in a sec.
Yeah, where it's like
yeah. And that's the thing, like
he's
when I talk
everywhere.
about him being
like his
good
range
at TikTok,
is unbelievable.
He doesn't have a TikTok, and he's like the number one guy on TikTok, or was for quite a while. And there's brilliance in that. This was conscious. He didn't luck into this. This didn't happen by accident. He realized once he gets 100,000 or so people, he's like, if you've got 100,000 people in your Discord thing following you, and you can get them all posting, you can get 50, 60,000 people a day posting clip mashups of your interviews, some of that's going to go viral. It's going to be, and it's going to go fucking, and the algorithm will help carry you. And again, part of this, he didn't come up, like, this is in part based on the fact that he pays attention to what's been happening. So he notices Alex Jones has guys like Kanye on because he knows that they're going to do provocative racist shit that the media will cover, and that'll get his name trending, even though he's not on social media. He observes this, and then he goes more proactively after it, right? What Tate's done is he's taken the logic and the sense of personal investment that you get in a pyramid scheme or an MLM, and he's given his followers a vested financial interest in getting his content trending around the world. And this worked incredibly well. The sudden rush of attention Tate stuff got in 2021 and 2022 drove tens of thousands of mostly very young men to Hustlers University and the War Room, which is his even more exclusive Discord that costs $5,000 a month, or $5,000 total to join. Now, both platforms have strict requirements for their membership. If you pay $5,000 to join the War Room, you're warned ahead of time that you could be banned for any reason. costing you $5,000 if you displease Andrew Tate. So you're going to be invested in keeping him happy.
That's
Meanwhile,
subjectively evil in a
one of the
huge
things you're
grift.
told, if you join Hustlers University, he tells you, if you don't pay every month for this, it means you're not committed enough to succeed and are definitely going to fail in life. I can remember him doing like a call-in show where like one guy's like, yeah, I think I need to take a month off from membership to buy my mom a birthday gift. And he's like, well, if you weren't a failure, you would have made that money already using the skills you'd learned here. And what they do, if you miss a month of payments on Hustlers University,
you're out, baby. 100%.
No, you're not. You're not.
No?
You're not. You are siloed off to a separate Discord where the only thing posted in there is screen grabs of the other members' profits.
Oh my God! To like shame
yeah,
you.
exactly.
They want you to come back. They want you to find a way to get the money to start paying again. Like,
yeah. And I'm going to continue with a quote from that Guardian investigation. We conducted an anonymous experiment with a blank account set up for a teenage boy and were quickly shown content of Tate. After watching 2 of his videos, we were recommended more, including clips of him expressing misogynistic views. The next time the account was opened, the first 4 posts were of Tate, from 4 different accounts. In one video, posted from an account with Tate's name and face, he describes matter-of-factly how he expects his girlfriends to behave. I expect absolute loyalty from my woman, he says. I ain't having my chicks talking to other dudes, liking other dudes. My chicks don't go to the club without me. They are at home. This tactic has worked extremely well, and the way that social media functions has ensured that all the hate Tate receives does nothing but make his brand stronger. In mid-2021, basically every liberal and lefty... I already talked about this, but after he gets kicked off of social media, subscriptions to Hustlers University only increase. Screenshots posted online showed that Hustlers University 2.0 had about 12,000 subscribers in March of 2022, when kind of everybody started attacking Andrew Tate. By July, it had 77,000 subscribers, and at the start of August, there were 129,000 followers. By the end of August, he starts to get even more media attention, and his affiliate program that incentivized subscribers gets discontinued, which costs him a bunch of people. So like near the end of that month, he goes down by like 25,000 or so, but that's a temporary loss because by September, he's back up to 160,000 subscribers. In October, BuzzFeed observed more than 221,000 users in his Discord server, which is Hustlers University 2.0. Since all of those people were paying $49.99 a month, that means he was making $11 million in October alone just from his Discord.
Holy shit. That's crazy.
Yeah. And
and you know he's not paying taxes on anything.
He's already told you shouldn't pay taxes on your shit. Break the law, right?
Solid point.
Now, I think it's important to see the way a lot of young men react to and imitate Tate, because it could be easy to dismiss him as just another weirdo right-wing guy online if you don't see that. So I'm going to play you a clip. This is of some kid. I think they're 18. This is their TikTok. Watch this. Pay attention to his mannerisms. You've all seen enough Andrew Tate now to recognize Tate.
People think that it's so hard to break the matrix, and I'm here to tell you it's not. Like, I made my first $1 million last year, and in the past 12 months, I was able to turn that $1 million into $5.6 million at 18 years old, by the way. And I'll tell you this right now, I didn't do this by listening to no brokey teacher saying, study for your degree. Fuck your degree. It is not hard to create your dream life. Like, once you make that first 100K, you are out. And if you follow the steps that I give you and actually take action and make that first 100K and not blow it all on a fucking penthouse or a Lambo, you will be out. So stop waiting and join us. People think that it's so hard.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's like he's literally like verbatim, like clone of it. It's insane.
Yeah.
That's
right
crazy.
down to like the facial expressions and stuff.
Yeah.
And even like he's doing kind of a weird like semi-British accent thing in there or something. I don't know. Maybe that kid is British, but like everything.
Yeah, and he's doing like the term brokey is one that evolved within the Tate community.
Exactly. The hand gestures, like all of it. It's insane.
That's like the thing, by the way. Brokey is like, that's what they tell you. Tate people tell you, like, call your teachers that. Tell your, like, the adults around you who tell you not to obsess with Andrew Tate style hustlers brokies, because they're not multimillionaires, so they're losers. If you argue with these people online, the question they're told to ask you is, what color is your Bugatti? By the way, the color of Andrew Tate's Bugatti now is he doesn't have one because it's been confiscated by the Romanian government.
Burn.
So, but this, again, you see why this is like, I mean, just to, for a little bit of like personal context, when I was 18, 19, like I started working and it sucks. Like working for minimum wage and trying to afford an apartment was a lot easier 15, 16 years ago when I was doing it, but like it still sucked ass. And the thing that I wanted more than anything was to like figure out some job that would let me work from home doing something that wasn't miserable, which is like how I started my career in like tech journalism and shit. And like that was my sole motivation, was to not have to spend 40 to 60 hours a week being miserable in an office in like for someone else's profit. I didn't want to have to do that. And like, I get how powerful a motivator that is. And there's, again, this kid that we just saw, like part of what he's saying is like these teachers who tell you to study for your degree, that's not going to help you. And for a lot of people, he's right. I know a shitload of people who got a fucking college degree and it did nothing but lock them into debt. There's a reason why kids are vulnerable to this shit. And it's because doing things the quote unquote right way is often deeply unpleasant. It's just that all Andrew Tate's going to get you to do is give him money. He's not going to teach you how to escape this system, because you can't escape it. Like, even if you think that you've escaped it because you've gotten a decent job, you're still latched to it one way or the other. Like, it is still dragging behind you, which is why we need to kill it with a spear. But anyway, that's ads. Time for some ads. Good stuff. So,
can you I'm like, good stuff. Not sure. Are you going to ask how we're feeling?
Yeah, how are you feeling?
Sad.
How's everybody doing? Everybody happy?
Sad and concerned for.
A little
I'm hearing
scared,
happy.
honestly.
I'm hearing happy. That's good.
Tell us more.
So in the weeks before his arrest, Andrew was trending in what is a legitimately fascinating direction. He announced at the start of December of 2022 that he had converted to Islam. Now, there is a whole video. There's a number of them, but I watched a whole video with him and some like weirdo Muslim scholar. I don't know that this guy is it's on like the One Islam network, which has 1.74 million subscribers. This video has 1.6 million views. The guy is Mohammed Hijab. I don't think he's a good person. And I'm certainly not saying that he actually knows or actually is an expert on Islam. I don't know. I'm not certainly either. But boy, this video is gross as shit. So Tate starts by like saying that he had converted to Islam because he decided it was the only real religion. Right? All of the other religions have been cucked by the Matrix and are fake. And he claimed he used to be an atheist, but then he saw evil and that convinced him of the existence of God. And then we get to my favorite part, which is the only thing that's entertaining in this video and not deeply depressing.
Longest time. You know, I've never been to like a music concert. And people ask me why.
Oh my God.
I just look at it and I feel embarrassed. I look at someone up on a stage dancing around, and I look at hundreds of thousands of peasants in the crowd. Just yeah. I'm like, it's I feel cringe. It's like secondhand embarrassment when I see these festivals and everyone's losing their mind, or these music concerts. I genuinely feel embarrassed for the people who go, because to me that is a form of worship. Like, you can listen to the music at home for free. You don't have to wait in that line and stand out in the cold. Like, I don't know. Perhaps it was a bit extreme, but I've always known that they're trying to give us false idols to some degree. And when I speak to atheists, they go, oh, I don't believe in God. But they've signed up so hard to the liberal woke agenda. They're as religious as anybody, but they're just believing in the wrong things. They're believing.
So I think that's interesting, because what clearly has happened here is that Andrew Tate is a deeply malignant narcissist. And if you go to a concert, part of like what people get out of a concert is losing themselves in a piece of another person's creation. And that would mean that the focus is not on Andrew Tate. And not only can he not enjoy it, but it makes him sick to see other people be a focus of attention.
Like, live music is one of the greatest things we have in
It's
this
the
world.
single best thing that our species has created. Like, but Andrew...
Oh my God.
Not Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate's like, ooh, too much.
I do think it's
joy.
funny.
It's like, but if people are looking at Dua Lipa, that means no one's
paying
to me.
attention to Andrew Tate. Yes. Also, there's definitely videos of him at concerts, but at least at rave
I love
type
that.
things.
That's beautiful.
It's very funny. It's also worth noting that Andrew Tate and Jeff Bezos are buddies in baldness and not understanding the gift of song. So that's fun. It's neat that they have that in common.
They also both like to wear really tight pants, which is
they
very
also
funny.
both like to wear really tight pants. That is correct. Although I gotta say this, Jeff Bezos gave up half of his fortune in the divorce, and I don't think that Andrew Tate would have done that. So
100% no.
Definitely not.
Anyway, Tate was arrested right before the end of 2022, alongside his brother Tristan and 2 Romanian women, one of whom was a former Romanian police officer. Some of the articles I found that are Romanian will say that the women were branded by him. This is not entirely accurate. They're saying this because of like Nexium, right? Because the second season of the Keith Raniere doc came out and those women had been branded. The reality is that they have Tate's girls tattoos, which we know exist. I've seen pictures of them on a number of different women. And like, that's weird, but that is not branding. People get tattoos. People get tattoos with dudes' names on them. That's not like, it's not branding.
And branding somebody are dramatically different.
Very different.
Yeah. Again,
Very
the guy is
different.
deeply abusive, but he is not like, I have not seen any evidence that he's literally branding women. They just got tattoos of his name, which is like weird, but not what Keith Raniere was having women do.
Yeah.
It is too early for me to comment in much detail about the allegations against him. We do know that at least 2 women, I think it's up to 4 now, have accused one of the Tates, and we don't actually know which of the Tates, with physical and sexual abuse. In addition, both Tates are accused, along with those women, of sexually trafficking a number of women for their webcam business.
Do we think he'd throw his brother under the bus to save himself?
1 million.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance. I don't think Tristan would. Tristan, I think, is kind of brainwashed. Not to Tristan's a giant piece of shit, by the way. But like, I think that Andrew would throw Tristan under the bus before Tristan would throw Andrew under the bus. Although I'm open to being surprised here. For a little bit of context on the crimes, I'm going to quote from Reuters here. The Directorate for Investigating Organized Crime and Terrorism said the suspects appear to have created an organized crime group with the purpose of recruiting, housing, and exploiting women by forcing them to create pornographic content meant to be seen on specialized websites for a cost. It claimed that the men recruited women with the pretense of romance in the lover boy method before being forced to perform in pornographic content under the threat of violence. Investigators are reported to believe one of the performers brought in $45,000 a month, or £45,000 a month, but received no payment while the women were kept under house arrest. Tate claims the women kept 80 to 85% of the fees earned and that most of the girls ended up being multimillionaires. And look, Tate has his claim here. That's important to note. But we know that in his Hustlers University video, he recommends getting people to work with you in a gig basis and then lying to them about how much money they're making so you can take it all. So I think there's reason to believe the Romanian authorities on this one. Now, the prosecution doesn't just have that. They have audio that likely, some of it I think came from a wiretap. Some of it seems to have been recorded by one of his victims. Some of this audio has been apparently been leaked to local Romanian news sources. Most of the translations of it I found have been from Romanians on Reddit. I'm not going to quote directly from it because I just am not certain about the provenance of all of this yet. But some credible Romanian news sources are reporting that based on these leaked conversations that the prosecution has, Tate openly discusses using the women who worked for him to launder money and talks about the fact that he is committing crimes. He does this very openly. They have him recorded talking about the laws that he's broken, because as smart as he is in terms of how to like get himself going viral on TikTok, he's not comprehensive. Again, like everything about Andrew, he's not as good as he thinks he is. And in this case, it seems to have bitten him in the ass. Now, it is worth noting that Tate's house had been raided like 6 months before his arrest. Yeah. So he was aware that the police were on him. It's kind of baffling to me that he did not, and maybe it shows his arrogance that he didn't try to flee the country with his assets or as much of them as possible. And instead, he kind of seeded his fan base with comments about the fact that he was likely to be arrested or killed. This is sort of a John McAfee, and I'm sure that's who he's copying from here. Here's a clip from a fan video I found with nearly 700,000 views at the time of publication of this episode.
At This right here is one of my 18
Rude.
audiobooks that I own. It made 82
wow.
sales
See,
last
it's
month.
another-
on
it's a
Audible.
fucking
It's
Audible
called
scam.
Learn Spanish for Kids, I don't even speak Spanish, okay, guys? I paid a guy $150. He recorded the audio, and then I just uploaded the file to Audible.
Wow.
But what's amazing about this is every month I make about 50 to 100 sales,
this, Sophie.
and for each sale, I get paid.
So again, part of why Andrew is, because this is, he will tell you how to do a version of this scam, and so will a million other people. Part of why Tate gets away with what he's doing is we have built a culture in which every single mass media organ is largely supported by a variety of scams and cons designed to suck money from people and provide them with nothing, including that's how YouTube makes its money. This is a huge amount of YouTube's advertising.
Yeah.
Like is shit like this. That's why Andrew is able to maneuver and act, is that our culture has created this space where it is all nothing but a series of cons from the top to the bottom. Anyway, let's watch this video now of him talking about how he's going to be murdered for cracking the Matrix.
To think they're not. All I'm trying to do is teach men to be strong. If they decide to kill me on a long enough time frame, they're going to be successful. But I can't. I don't want to live in fear. Because what did I say in the earlier tenet? If I become a coward, I will live in fear, and it breeds inaction.
The music is amazing.
It's
so funny.
I want the world to know that I'd absolutely never, ever kill myself under any circumstances, ever. No matter what they say. I did not kill myself. I don't want to be seen as a threat to the
Look, I'm
elites
gonna
to the
tell
point
you
where they
right
believe
now.
I have to die. I want to be seen as a positive force.
I'm going to tell you right now, Andrew absolutely would commit suicide if he thought he was never going to get out of prison, just like John McAfee did. Just like, look, narcissists do this all the time.
Yeah.
He's just hoping that he can rile people up, get folks angry, maybe inspire some violence on his behalf. Again, this is part of the playbook where he's not being creative at all. He's just doing a John McAfee.
He's literally doing a McAfee.
Yeah. Now, true to, and I hope he does the full McAfee, by the way. True to form, immediately after his request, someone with access to his account posted a link to Hustlers University 3.0, which is the newest phase of his. He had just launched this before he got arrested. Now, Hustlers University 3.0 lives at the link jointherealworld.com, and on the website is a video made with clips from The Matrix and some other movies, alongside clips of Tate and clips of other YouTube stars attacking him. Because he was like on Logan Paul's show, and then when he got arrested, Logan Paul pretended that like he hated him, all this good stuff. Above the video is the text, "It's time to wake up, Neo. Join us. Amass wealth. Escape slavery."
Hustlers University. Hustlers University. Hustlers University.
Want to learn about Hustlers University? There's a bunch of rooms to go into, and those rooms have millionaire professors.
You are taught by millionaires that answer your questions. They give you everything on a silver platter.
It may be impossible to not make money if you follow what they say.
Not only having contact with actual multimillionaires, being part of a community of students.
We all help each other.
It's a community.
People that are there for you.
We're all in there for one thing, and that's to make money.
I've already made my money back after the first day.
I've made $5K this month from just joining. That's fucking crazy.
I made $4K in my first month.
I made $2,000 in only 2 weeks at 15.
I just made that fucking $20,000 in great zone. So fucking cheers. All in all, I made about $3,000.
My goal was to match my 9-to-5 income. I shattered that by 5 times.
I will have days where I make $2,000 or $3,000, and that's like what I used to make in a month.
There are so many guys in this video. We probably saw like fucking close to 100 of them in that first series of just like different clips of people talking about their experience with Hustlers University. Again, hundreds of thousands of people who have paid him money directly and have joined. And all of these dudes are still on Hustlers University. It is still functioning as far as I have heard. And presumably still deeply invested in Tate's success. Like, this is not a problem that's over. And it is, we don't know the court case. Andrew and his brother basically have not actually been formally charged yet. As of publication of this episode, or at least as of the recording of it, they are on a 30-day hold while the Romanian court kind of gets shit in order to see what they're actually going to charge them on. Some of this is just that, like, Andrew's obviously a flight risk. He has whole videos about all the private jets that he has access to. So we'll see. I think there's a chance Andrew has played his last cards, although I think there's a chance he winds up getting out and this has another ugly chapter. But there's a very good chance he's going to do serious prison time, like 10 plus years in Romania. And however rabid his fan base is now, if he spends years in prison, I think that will dull his appeal. For one thing, it'll make him look like a loser. But in the here and now, we are all left with the problem of all of these fucking people, these young minds, these weirdos, these kids that he's influenced. Multiple schools, particularly in the United Kingdom, have had to hold classes and seminars on de-radicalizing teenage boys who fell through Andrew Tate. And I'm going to close this episode by reading a quote from one of those articles in the Times of London. His initial attraction to young people, said one teacher, was often his advice around being confident and financially successful, and from there he capitalizes on a post-Me Too anxiety with comments such as, females don't have independent thought, they don't come up with anything, they're just empty vessels waiting for someone to install the programming. Jay Jordan, a teacher in Dundee of 5 years, said the recent interest in Tate had made boys more hostile. You used to have to deal with sexist stuff, but now it's explicitly connected to Andrew Tate. The boys do not stop talking about him, she said. In one class, she reprimanded a 14-year-old. You're just a woman, he responded. Jordan, 37, said, we've definitely gone backwards, and it is worrying. And that's the fun place to end the Andrew Tate cast, the Tate episodes. How we doing, gang?
That's just like I said before. I'm scared because there's like hundreds of thousands of boys and young men who think like this, and like they're not in jail, they're not going anywhere, so like this mindset and this ideology is going to continue to be proliferated, and it's pretty terrifying.
It is terrifying, and it's worth noting again, people talking about like what's the solution, is throwing him in prison the solution, and like no, throwing him in prison is a tourniquet maybe. I think it might stop his ability to grow the way that he would have grown if it hadn't. Deplatforming was a total failure in this. Like kicking him off of shit did nothing but increase his reach and his profitability because of the quote unquote controversy that got. And the thing to blame here, there's a couple of things. Number one, the structure of social media is to blame. The structure of social media, in order to stop an Andrew Tate, it's not getting better at arresting these guys. It's changing the structure of social media to not reward the kind of conflicts that he deliberately incited in order to, the fact that like, if you do something super fucked up and racist and people get angry about it, it increases your reach on every social media app that exists is a huge part of the problem. And the reason why that will not change is fundamentally that's how all of these people make money. Whether they're the good Twitter or the bad Elon Twitter, they all made their money by making people fight, or by not making people fight, but by sharing things that would make people angry so that they would engage in fights. That's a big part of what Andrew Tate recognized. The other thing is the entire structure of the system that we live under rewards cons and grifts. It is all figure out what the latest, as technology increases, there are more opportunities to run versions of the same old MLM scam that will not be recognized yet by the government as illegal, right? So you get in there as fast as you can and you make your money and then you fucking escape. And this is the fucking cryptocurrency thing, right? This is all that NFT shit. It's the new scam that is really just the old scam dressed up in enough of a coat of paint that nobody recognizes, that like none of like the law doesn't recognize it for a couple of years. That's all Andrew has ever been doing. That's all he is purporting to teach you. And he just was sloppy enough with aspects of his life, and that he wasn't able to keep doing it long enough, right? Like, the only reason he got caught is that he bragged about breaking the laws in Romania and that they weren't going to punish him, and also he was too good at becoming famous. If he had stayed a few levels lower than this, if he'd stayed at like that Alex Jones level or whatever of social media influence even, he probably would have kept getting away with it. But he was so big that it created such a fuss. And the Romanian government had to be like, well, look, now he's bragging about sex trafficking and the EU's angry at us because we already have this problem. Let's destroy this guy's life in order to because he basically forced us to, right? If he'd been a little bit less of an idiot, a little bit more careful, he would have gotten away with it for longer. And the next one probably will. Although maybe all of these guys, because they're narcissists, are unable to kind of pull back from the ledge before they go over it. I guess that's the optimistic thing. Maybe fundamentally the kind of guy who can do an Andrew Tate is always going to be so much of an egomaniac that they can't stop themselves. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the way that he's reached his audience should be examined, and that it's truly terrifying. It's truly terrifying, the reach that he has, and that the internet basically has rewarded him for it. I hope he stays in jail for a long time and fizzles out. But as we can see, Andrew Tate clones will just keep popping up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the scary thing. Like, somebody else who can just like study this model, find the holes in it and patch it up. And then, you got your next Andrew Tate, 4.0 or whatever. And that's what's scary about it, is as long as our current social media ecosystem exists and the way news is covered, as long as that model exists, somebody is just going to keep finding ways to exploit this and do the same thing. And it's scary.
It is scary. But you know what's not scary? Your pluggables.
That's you, Ian. What do you got?
Yeah, I would just say, I don't know. Yeah. Cool Zone Media. Great team. Great people. Great podcasts. And, tennis. I'll plug tennis. I'm really I'm just starting, to play, and I'm excited to get out there and get better. Australian Open is going on right now. So it's a good time. Yeah.
I would like to plug that live music is beautiful, and Andrew Tate can go fuck himself. At Cool Zone Media and all the things. Robert, do you have anything specifically you would like to plug?
Yeah, I have a book called After the Revolution. If you just Google AK Press After the Revolution, you can find it and buy a physical copy. You can also just go to atrbook.com and find the ebook for free, or just listen to the podcast of the same name. So check that out. I have a Substack. It's Shatterzone. Just Google Shatterzone Substack and you'll find that. I'll get another thing up there soon. Anyway, that's me. You could start calling me Top G if you wanted to. Sophie, do we think that's a good marketing term? Okay. Well, what if I do my Boston accent and I try to teach kids how to make their 12-year-old cousins illegally labor for them without payment?
Well, I don't know. There might be something there, Robert.
Well, thank you, Ian. Thank you for believing in me. Would you like to join my Discord for $5,000?
You know what, Bobby? Yes, let's do it.
All right. Well, everybody, I've got a new con to get off to. So everyone, have a great day, and feel better than you feel listening to this episode.
Bye.
Behind the Bastards is a production of Cool Zone Media. For more from Cool Zone Media, visit our website, coolzonemedia.com, or check us out on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. Behind the Bastards is now available on YouTube. New episodes every Wednesday and Friday. Subscribe to our channel, youtube.com/@BehindTheBastards.
is the biggest night in podcasting.
The countdown is on to our 2026 iHeart Podcast Awards. Live from South by Southwest, March 16th, we'll honor the very best in podcasting from the past year and celebrate the most innovative talent and creators in the industry.
It's truly a who's who of the podcasting world.
Creativity, knowledge, and passion will all be on full display.
And the winner of the iHeart Podcast Award is...
See all the nominees now at iHeart.com/podcast awards.
Audible is a proud sponsor of the Audible Audio Pioneer Award. Explore the best selection of audiobooks, podcasts, and originals all in one easy app. Audible. There's more to imagine when you listen. Sign up for a free trial at audible.com.
This is Ryder Strong, and I have a new podcast called The Red Weather. In 1995, my neighbor, Anna Trainer, disappeared from a commune.
It was nature and trees and praying and drugs.
So no, I am not your guru.
And back then, I lied to everybody.
They have had this case for 30 years.
I'm going back to my hometown to uncover the truth. Listen to The Red Weather on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Saturday, May 2nd, country's biggest stars will be in Austin, Texas at our 2026 iHeart Country Festival presented by Capital One. Tickets are on sale now. Get yours before they sell out at Ticketmaster.com. That's Ticketmaster.com.
When segregation was a law, one mysterious black club owner, Charlie Fitzgerald, had his own rules.
Segregation in the day, integration at night.
It was like stepping in another world.
Was he a businessman, a criminal, a hero?
Charlie was an example of power. They had to crush him.
Charlie's Place, from Atlas Obscura and Visit Myrtle Beach. Listen to Charlie's Place on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
This is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed Human.